Want to accelerate your career as a manager or executive in the exciting industry of sports? Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program is ranked #1 in Florida and 10th in the world. Students learn practical and applied skills from top faculty and experts who work in the industry. With a 94% placement rate for all grads, the full-time MBA program sets students up for success in the world of sports. Check out Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program today by going to business.fau.edu.
Mega Thrills at Rapids Water Park. Mega Fun. And new Mega Mayhem, now open. The first dueling water coaster in Florida. Buy single-day tickets in advance online and save. Only at South Florida's Mega Thrill capital, Rapids Water Park.
Shaw Sports Turf is a world-class artificial athletic field provider for every level of play with over 3,500 installations in North America. They are more than just fields. They are centerpieces and rallying points for schools and communities. Shaw Sports Turf is proud to be the turf provider for Tropicana Field and the Tampa Bay Rays, as well as the Miami Marlins. Shaw was also the turf provider for the Cincinnati Bengals and the Manning Passing Academy. Follow Shaw Sports Turf on social media or visit shawsportsturf.com for more.
The Palm Beach Health Network Physician Group, an affiliate of the Palm Beach Health Network, is committed to delivering high-quality care to the communities they serve. Their award-winning physicians and specialists provide a level of expertise that has resulted in regional firsts and outstanding patient outcomes. For a physician referral, call 866-654-2362. To learn more about the Palm Beach Health Network Physician Group, visit pbhnphysiciangroup.com, pbhnphysiciangroup.com to get in touch with the Palm Beach Health Network Physician Group.
Theo here. EDS is yes. You've heard me say that over and over. So I need you to keep this website in mind too. EDSisyes.com. For the most trusted AC specialist here in Palm Beach County, EDSisyes.com. For 24/7 support, EDS is a trained comfort specialist. It's hard to stop a train. There are so many reasons why EDS is yes. When it comes to your air conditioning and plumbing, EDSisyes.com. That's EDSisyes.com.
Business owners, are your employees driving you nuts? Is money tight? Or have you just poured your heart and soul into your business and now it's time to retire and just relax? At Transworld Business Advisors, they have buyers from all over the world ready to buy your business now. Call for a confidential conversation about your business's current value. 561-203-5121. That's 561-203-5121 or visit tworld.com today.
Anajar and Levine.
Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
ESPN 1063.
WUUB Jupiter, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
Hi, it's Evan Cohen from Unsportsmanlike, and if you're starving for football, ESPN 1063 is an all-you-can-eat buffet. NFL Week 5 wraps up with Monday Night Football. The Saints and Chiefs are under the lights in Arrowhead. Pre-game begins at 7:30. So tune in and bask in the glory of football on ESPN 1063.
It's that time of year again. Preparations are underway for Clinics Can Help's 11th annual Golf Classic at the Wanderers Club. This fun-filled event works to raise money to provide customized medical equipment and supplies to many children in our area in need. Get your foursome together and join the festivities on Friday, October 11th, and make a difference in helping these children live a life of independence and dignity. Register today at clinicscanhelp.org.
Time now for a PNC pause. PNC Bank is committed to helping the customers and the communities they serve move forward financially. See how they can make a difference for you at PNC.com.
It's your boy JC, and it is football season, and nobody loves it more than me. And nobody loves Twin Peaks more than me. Eats, drinks, scenic views, 29-degree beer, happy hour daily made from scratch favorites, and always your UFC fight headquarters. You can watch any and every single football game happening in Ultra 4K HD from your Twin Peaks locations. You can watch any and every UFC fight, pay-per-view or otherwise, and never pay a cover. That's right, UFC fight headquarters, it's always Twin Peaks.
Hurricane fans, get ready for one of the biggest rivalries in college football. On October 26th, it's the Miami Hurricanes and the Florida State Seminoles at Hard Rock Stadium. It's an orange out, wear orange, and bring the noise in a game you don't want to miss. the Canes and Knowles, October 26th. Tickets are going fast, so secure yours now by visiting MiamiHurricanes.com or by calling 1-800-GO-CANES.
Breaking news on ESPN 106.3 is brought to you by St. Lucie Battery and Tire.
This just in, we begin this hour with breaking news.
When news breaks, ESPN 106.3 has it covered.
New developments ESPN 106.3 can now report.
When your vehicle breaks, St. Lucie Battery and Tire fixes it. Stay tuned to ESPN 106.3 for more breaking news. Brought to you by St. Lucie Battery and Tire.
Hey everyone, it's Cade Shumslin. Every week, Land Rover Palm Beach supports local student athletes as they grow on the field, in the classroom, and in the community by naming a Player of the Week. This year, $35,000 will be rewarded to student athletes and their schools. Tune in to ESPN West Palm High School Game Day every Friday night as I unveil this week's featured athlete. If you have a great performance that I need to know about, DM us at ESPN West Palm, Land Rover Palm Beach, above and beyond.
Now, it's time for a little R&R.
All into the bucket, lays it up and in.
Ball game, Rizzo!
Live in the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, this is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
This team is going to be tough when they finally get it together.
Sit back and relax. Let Russo and Rizzo take you home.
Oh, mercy! Light him up, Collins!
Well, week 5, week 6 in college football, week 5 in the NFL, mostly in the books. I think the theme is concern. Who are we concerned about? Who aren't we concerned about? Who needs a bit of a revamp? Who are we ready to send off to pasture? It's Russo and Rizzo live here at ESPN 106.3. Colin Russo, of course, Mike Rizzo across from me, with Christian Cat, as always, behind the glass on a fine Monday, previewing a hurricane. Not the Miami Hurricanes, but Hurricane Milton, who has seemingly upgraded and is going to make his way through Florida here pretty soon. And as powerful of a hurricane as you could find, it seems, Florida cannot get any luck in terms of this. But there's something new for me and Mike, guys who just moved here. Hurricane prep. There's people who doomsday, and there's people that are ready to set up the lawn chair and watch it all unfold.
I think you're the latter, if I had to guess.
I agree. I think this. Listen. I could be completely wrong. This hurricane's gonna have to. He's gonna have to show me something, and then we could have a conversation. But people are acting like the world's about to. Listen, if you're in Tampa, there's cause for concern. But if you're in the South Florida area, from what I see, from my perspective, and listen, I am no meteorologist. I don't think.
And we've never seen a hurricane.
I've seen Hurricane Sandy.
Okay.
And that was a pretty strong hurricane up north, in Northeast. But it's going to rain. People are ready to batten down the hatches. My parents are letting me know, saying, you got to drive north and don't stop till you're out of harm's way. Drive north. What? Drive north to where?
That'd be in harm's way, by the way.
Yeah. You want me to drive into the eye of the storm?
No, you're going to Georgia. Go hang out with Kirby Smart on the Athens campus.
I don't think I want anything to do with anything SEC after the weekend we just saw on the NCAA slate and what the SEC had to put up. But it was a packed week of sports. We'll get into a little hurricane, little Miami Hurricanes, a little NCAA, and a little NFL. A whole lot of teams lost. A whole lot of good teams lost. There's cause for concern on a whole lot of fronts. I think it starts, in my opinion, with what I saw from San Francisco yesterday.
Yeah, my Super Bowl pick. How does that look so far? I'm not high on the Cardinals, so I agree with you. I think this was a game that they had to win. I think this is a game where you look at, and it's got division implications too. I mean, you lost to the Cardinals. You lost to the Rams. They're 0-2 in the division. So they better figure it out sooner rather than later. It's not like they weren't able to run the ball either. Like, usually when I look at San Francisco and the reason they lost, it's, they weren't able to do what they always do, and they weren't able to run the ball. They had 153 yards on the ground. The problem was Brock Purdy and the 2 interceptions. Brock Purdy being 19 of 35 throwing the football. Is Brock, we talk about all the time on the program about top quarterbacks, and we love making our lists. We love making our tiers. Like, I don't even know where Brock Purdy falls on that right now. Maybe you could label it to a slow start. But, Colin, you got to get better quarterback production, and you can't throw those 2 interceptions in that game. Really think it hindered him.
So let's think about this for a second. The year the Rams went to the Super Bowl, the Niners had a 10-point lead in the second half and blew it. 2 weeks ago against the Rams, the Niners had a 10-point lead, blew it. Yesterday, Niners had a substantial lead, blew it. The Atlanta Falcons played the New England Patriots in the Super Bowl 7 years ago. 28-3, blew it. What's the underlying variable there?
Got to finish.
Kyle Shanahan.
Got to get across the finish line.
We know how good of a coach he is with the X's and the O's. Seemingly still has a problem closing games. At a certain point, something's got to click. Something's got to click. And with Shanahan and seemingly how he runs his team, it's almost like he has a difficult time playing ahead. The Niners led the Chiefs the first time the Chiefs beat them in the fourth quarter.
They went to overtime last year, and they were. I understand. You give Mahomes the ball back.
They blew that game with the Tyreek Hill deep shot at the end of the game.
Yep.
At a certain point, you got to learn how to close a game. And I know this is not the Super Bowl, but the fact that this has happened in a Super Bowl, this has happened in a conference title game, this has happened now twice this season. They were leading 24-14 over the Rams in the fourth quarter 2 weeks ago.
And then 20 against the
Cardinals. At a certain point, Kyle, what are we doing? There's multiple quarterbacks that you had Matt Ryan, Garoppolo, and Purdy now. At a certain point, what is going wrong?
Is it... Are they getting too complacent? Are they trying to run the ball?
Or are they not running the ball?
Second half?
Or are they not running the ball?
Right. I mean, I don't think Jimmy Garoppolo and Brock Purdy are anything to write home about. Now, people would disagree with me about Purdy. People love Purdy.
I like Purdy too. I think Purdy's a good player.
I know we did this last week, but I would take the likes of probably Baker Mayfield and Jordan Love over Brock Purdy. But that's just my opinion. Do I think Brock Purdy can win in a Kyle Shanahan-style offense? Absolutely. He almost did last year. I could argue if Shanahan...
And he played well in the game.
I could argue if Shanahan didn't take the ball first, okay, in that overtime, it's a whole nother conversation, they probably would have won that game. So I'm not hitting the panic button quite yet. I know 2-3 and 0-2 in your division is kind of doomsday. Now, the ironic part is, I mentioned they're 0-2 in the division. They're at Seattle. They're at Seattle coming up on Thursday. This is a short week for them. Thursday Night Football is Seahawks and Niners.
In Seattle.
Yes, with the 12th man. Are they 0-3 in this division come Thursday? Then I'll start panicking. Then you got to win your next 3.
This is reflective of a much bigger theme with how Kyle Shanahan manages these games. He cannot close a game. It's almost like winning by 30 is so much. It makes the world of a difference comparatively to winning by 10. 10 points is a two possession lead is Kyle Shanahan's worst nightmare. It's his worst nightmare.
And it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. That's the reason
they would
I'm
rather
laughing.
win by 3 than win by 10.
McVay or Shanahan? You taking McVay?
He's won the big one. But the idea...
Because of the Super Bowl.
Yeah, yes. The idea that this has been a consistent problem is absurd. Twice this season. And this is... You can't chalk this up to all Purdy. This is game plan at this point.
Mm-hmm.
They had guys playing. Ayuk had a good game. Purdy played pretty well, all things considered, at least for 2.5, 3 quarters. The run game had a couple moments. You can't just let these teams back in these games. It's incredible. And whether it's how he manages the game, there is, in my opinion, the fact that this is still coming up tells me it's not going anywhere anytime soon.
And it's not like Kyler Murray was the reason they lost, too. Murray threw for 195 yards, a pick, and a touchdown. And my surprise note of this game is that the Niners were only able to sack him one time. Kyler is a quarterback who likes to hang on to it, who likes to improvise, and a lot of times that comes with sacks. That comes with maybe a couple of turnovers. I know he had an interception, but one sack for that gaunted San Francisco defense I thought was, a glaring thing on the statistics sheet with Bosa and Warner and company at Devondre Campbell on that front seven.
Now, on the flip side of it, special teams played great. They had a touchdown via special teams.
Yep.
And, of course, Bosa had that terrific interception. Now, Purdy was not great, but to me, Niners had no business losing this game. None. Despite the issues with Purdy and here and there. So at a certain point, I think they got to start to look in the mirror about what in the second half are we doing wrong that allows these teams to hang around.
And it's like 11:25 in the fourth quarter is when the Cardinals scored. They went on a 12-play, 73-yard drive. You're telling me for 11 minutes, the Kyle Shanahan offense that I hoot and holler about, the Kyle Shanahan coach who I wish was my head coach for my football team, couldn't score, couldn't get a field goal, couldn't get a touchdown in 11 minutes at home, Colin? For 11 minutes in the fourth quarter, they didn't score. And not to mention, they got shut out in the second half. They didn't score a single point in the second half. That's the problem. That's the problem right there, getting shut out in the second half. You mentioned, what is it? It wasn't necessarily the run game. Maybe it was Purdy and the 2 interceptions, but it's a reoccurring thing. And I know Kyle Shanahan doesn't want to be remembered as the runner-up, right? He doesn't want to be remembered as the coach that gets there, but just quite doesn't have enough at the end. And I know that Super Bowl last year isn't sitting well with him. But, Colin, when I look at it, a division game against an opponent you're better than, and you don't score in the second half at home, that's flat out embarrassing.
Yeah. And now
flat out embarrassing.
And because of that, this fancies the question, is this win? People have brought it up, and maybe it's a little early, but it's worth discussing. Is this window, can you see the shutters on the side starting to come in on the sun? Like, is this starting to, are the walls starting to shrink in on what the Niners are trying to do consistently?
I think it is if Purdy isn't the guy. I think as long as Brock Purdy plays at a pretty high level, this team will be all right. Now, you're going to have to pay him. Are you going to pay him?
I think
that's another question.
I think the problem lies everywhere else because there's so much you have to make sure that goes well in terms of compensating your players, number one, and number two, keeping them healthy. Injury bugs happen. I understand. There's nothing you could do about that. And the Niners are better than a whole lot of other teams at replacing guys and not feeling the bruise as much. Christian McCaffrey is a good example. But these guys are getting older. Trent Williams is 40 years old. McCaffrey, we don't even know what's going on with his legs. Samuel is on the higher age limit of a wide receiver. You paid Ayuk. You don't even know if he's worth it at this point. And then
Kittle's hurt a lot.
Kittle's now rarely available. At a certain point, are the walls shrinking in on this core of the Niners? If you get the injury bug this year, everybody's a year older next year, you can't just run it back because financially it's just not going to work out.
Mm-hmm.
There's too many things you got to work out from a logistical perspective and getting everybody on the field, and that doesn't even consider the fact that medically it's a whole nother loophole to get everybody on the field in that regard. I think the walls are shrinking in on the Niners a little bit.
You got to look at that. For me, Kyle, you got to look at the head coach and you got to look at the quarterback. You didn't score a single point in the second half, and I feel like a lot of these times where the Niners struggle and they blow these leads is because they got nothing going offensively late in these games. The quarterback and the head coach got to figure it out. And everyone, I know I already brought up the whole Kyle Shanahan offense. If we're going to sit here and call Kyle Shanahan one of the better play callers in recent history of this league, I got to see a better effort. And I start with the quarterback. You have to be able to put up points. The defense, I could argue the defense did their job. Well, I know the 11 points in the fourth quarter, Colin, the field goal and the 2-point conversion with the touchdown hurts. But I could argue the defense did enough to win that
But here's the problem. Shanahan's done this with 3 quarterbacks now. So I agree. You're right. You need him a little bit more out of Purdy. But the idea that
we're looking at the
spotlight is Shanahan.
Yeah, we're looking at the coach.
This is not just this doesn't happen once. Okay, that might be a fluke. Twice, all right. Chalk it up to lightning strikes twice. 3 times is a pattern. 3 coaches, three players, 3 quarterbacks. Matt Ryan, Garoppolo, and now Purdy.
Shanahan would argue that I feel like obviously he wouldn't specifically speak on this, but I feel like Shanahan's defense would be. Sometimes, luck doesn't go your way when you get there. And last year, you saw the Niners start out hot. What was it? 1, 2, 3, 4. They were 5-0 heading into that Cleveland game, and Moody missed the field goal last year. They damn near could have been 6-0. I wanted to maybe track it back to, the Niners have kind of had slow starts, but this is a little uncharacteristic of Shanahan teams the last couple of years. So as much as I want to chalk it up to it's just a slow start, they'll figure it out, you're really opening up my eyes a little bit with the whole quarterback thing. I don't know where you're at with Garoppolo. I always thought Garoppolo held back Shanahan. But now, with Purdy the last couple of years, and specifically kind of blowing the Super Bowl. Now, do you think the Super Bowl was on Purdy and Shanahan? I think it was more or less on Patrick Mahomes being great and the Chiefs doing whatever they needed to do.
Yeah, that was a mojo game.
That's what I mean.
The one thing I'll say in combativeness to the slow start part is this is nothing. I mean, last year they started great, and then you kind of maintained it, and you had a good season. The year before that was the year that Purdy really came out. They started, I think, 3-4, and they finished like 13-4. So that this is nothing that's foreign, but the idea that everybody's a little older, it's 2 years later, you can't just rely on these miraculous turnarounds year by year. That's what I'll say to that. But to me, this is a major Shanahan recurrence that I think at least should be talked about.
I think, and the point I'm trying to make is, I think there are only 2 head coaches in this league I would take outside of Kyle Shanahan. That's Andy Reid and McVay. That's why I was interested to hear what you thought about McVay. And now McVay's been there twice and he's won once. Shanahan's been there multiple times too, but he's just never won the big one. But I still think Shanahan is a top 3 coach in this league. I still would take him over, what is that, 95% of the league.
Of course, but this is a knock. This is your legacy at the moment. If you're Kyle Shanahan, you come from a gifted family of football minds, and you have been a part of some terrific coaching trees, and you've produced a whole lot of talent in your own coaching tree. But this is your legacy. Your legacy is that you cannot close games consistently.
Is it a matter of time? I was always under the assumption with Shanahan, it's only a matter of time until he wins the Super Bowl. Andy Reid's not always going to be in Kansas City.
People said that about the Bills in the 90s.
Correct.
Only a matter of time.
Is he going to be the best runner-up like Jim Kelly? And I apologize, the head coach for the Bills at the time is slipping me. But are you going to be the Buffalo Bills?
Mark Levy. I think it was Levy.
Are you going to be the Bills, Colin, or are you going to be a team that finally gets over the hedge?
Yeah. So that's the theme with Kyle Shanahan. This is a consistent problem. But luckily, the Niners aren't the only good team that lost over the weekend. Plenty of other teams lost over the weekend, especially on the college side of things. Most notably, Vanderbilt, the Commodores.
How about that?
Nashville representing. Vanderbilt taking down Alabama, rushing the field, taking the goalpost down to the river.
I was about to say.
That's a first.
Saw that thing on Broadway.
That's a first. They lost. Missouri lost at A&M. Miami was basically on death's door of losing and should have lost, other than a bogus targeting penalty, which comes up every week, and it drives me absolutely crazy. And Tennessee loses. Whole lot of college teams losing. Of those 4 that I just mentioned, which causes for the most concern? That's the idea of the show, concern. Alabama, Tennessee, Missouri, Miami. The poll's up at ESPN West Palm on X. Phone lines are also open, 888-760-3776, 888-760-3776. Our Monday poll brings a friendly reminder from the Palm Beach County Supervisor of Elections. This general election is November 5th. You have to be registered to vote by today in order to make sure your voice is heard. That's today. Your voice is your voice, and we're here to make it count. Visit registertovoteflorida.gov for all the information you need to be ready to go in November. Once again, you have to be registered by today. So go check it out. Voteflorida.gov for all the info you need. We'll talk about that and much more. The phone lines are open. Once again, 888-760-3776. Who is cause for the most concern? We'll be back after this at Russo and Rizzo live on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Hey, it's Evan Cohen from Unsportsmanlike. Now I know you're already listening to ESPN 1063, so telling you to keep doing exactly what you're already doing right now is, well, kind of like telling a Dolphins fan to expect heartbreak. You already know. But just in case, let me remind you, you love this. You're addicted to my voice. And with more hot takes, more local shows, and probably more of me saying things that'll make you yell at the radio, you're in the right place. So keep doing what you're doing. Stay right here, and let's pretend I convinced you to do it.
ESPN 1063 is presented by Rubenstein Law. 1-800-FL-LEGAL. Car accident, truck accident, Uber or Lyft accident, or a slip and fall. Call Rubenstein Law. Call 1-800-FL-LEGAL and visit one of our offices throughout Florida.
This is ESPN 1063, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
Find official rules for all your favorite ESPN West Palm contests by visiting ESPNWestPalmContests.com. That's ESPNWestPalmContests.com. You're listening to ESPN 1063, the ESPN app, and streaming on your smart speaker.
Festive fun is back on select nights. At Palm Beach Zoo, there's family fun. It's the best date night. Oh, Zoo Lights cheer here at Palm Beach Zoo. Oh, what fun it is to save wildlife at the zoo. Hey!
Zoo Lights, presented by Florida Power and Light Company and Discover the Palm Beaches, Florida. Get your tickets today at pbzoo.org/zoolights.
Improve your golf game fast at the all-new Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center. The Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center has the facilities, tools, and coaching you need. Enjoy the best facilities in the area with an expansive chipping and putting area, practice bunkers, a huge putting green, plus a 2,000 square foot indoor training area with 3 hitting bays, cutting-edge analysis technology, and more. The Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center in the heart of Palm Beach County off I-95 and the Turnpike. Find out more at kaisergolfcenter.com.
Good Greek Moving and Storage, your superhero movers.
It's the Good Greek Spiro. For the best move ever, go to goodgreek.com.
Good Greek Moving and Storage, your superhero movers.
At the Home Depot, we know Saturdays are for college football. That's why we have everything you need to never miss a play. Like Bear Dynasty interior paint, their most durable one-coat hide paint ever. From a team color statement wall to a fan cave, complete with a mural honoring Nick Saban's 17-year dynasty.
Hey, I like that idea.
Nothing beats Bear Dynasty interior paint. It's everything you need all in one can.
Defend your game time with Bear and the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Valid only when tended to colors from the Bear Dynasty and Marquee Interior One-Coat Hide Color Collection.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Calling all sports fans, grab your MVP card and head to Duffy's where you can catch all of the action. Not an MVP? Sign up for free and start earning rewards today. Duffy's is voted the best sports grill year after year with their award-winning burgers and wings. Don't forget about Duffy's famous 2-for-1 drinks all day, every day. And with over 80 TVs in every location, you'll never miss a minute of the game. Visit Duffy'sMVP.com to learn more. Duffy's, our game is always on.
Kane is in the building.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 1063.
Rolling on here, Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 1063 from the City Place Studios in downtown West Palm Beach. It's hurricane season. Hurricane Milton's going to come make his presence felt over here in the Florida area, but especially the South Florida area in the coming days. This is a first for me. But it seems like Milton is as strong as they come. But to me, I'm not a doomsdayer. I think we'll be okay. That's just my opinion. Nonetheless, it's Russo and Rizzo live here. How do I get my week started? When everybody's worried about the hurricane, everybody's worried about getting water, toilet paper, all that crap. How do I get my mind off it? I go to F45 over here in downtown West Palm Beach or in the Wellington locations as well. F45, it's the perfect opportunity to exercise in and out, 45 minutes, classes every hour. You got 2 coaches on site helping you out. It's group setting. It's social. It's meant to get in, out, accommodate your schedule. It's easy. It's so fun. Yeah, I love it. It's a great way to get a sweat going. No, I thought I worked out pretty hard and pretty well when I was doing it solo at a normal gym, but then I went to F45 and realized how much more I could be pushing myself and how much more effort I could be putting forth into that functional movement. It's not necessarily the Olympic lifts, but it's more functional at F45. They got their challenge coming up this week, so you can get involved for a little over $100, I believe, from now until the week before Thanksgiving. You get BMI indexes. You get to get unlimited classes. Get involved. Check out F45 on their Instagram page at F45 West Palm Beach. It's a whole lot of fun. It's a great way to get a sweat going. No concern when I go to F45, but there is concern when I watch college football. And there was concern when I watched Alabama. And it was one of those games where Vanderbilt comes out, they strike first. They punch hard in that first half. And you're thinking, okay, now this is just going to be Bama wakes up at half.
It was 23-7.
And then Bama comes out in the second half, immediately goes for a touchdown, 23-21. Okay, this game's going to be a 40-point victory for Alabama. Vanderbilt hangs on.
Yeah.
And people were getting mad that, Alabama, that this is only when people beat Alabama do they rush the field. You're damn right. It's Alabama.
And it's the number 1 team in the country.
Rush that field.
Yeah, for
sure. Take that goalpost.
Bro, the number 1 team in the country and you're Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt
underrated. They almost had Missouri.
I don't have the exact stat in front of me, but they were like 0 for whatever against top 5 opponent. They never beat a top 5 opponent before in football. Of course they're going to strike. Colin, this is a program that has been relevant since Smoke and Jay's Cutler. Before your time. Honest to God. Of course they're going to storm the field and take... C-Cat, do you remember Smoke and Jay's Cutler?
Not in a Vanderbilt uniform.
Really?
No. Yeah, no.
Come
Sorry.
on.
I know him.
Got some ancient.
Only know him as a Bear. And a Dolphin.
They thought
you don't remember him as a Bronco? We're getting off topic.
They thought he was a tight end, and then they saw his QB tape. They're like, this guy's pretty good.
But Colin, regardless, had not been relevant since Cutler, and I have no problem with them storming the field. I loved every second of seeing those Vanderbilt students on Broadway with the goalposts. That's what college is about.
I agree.
That's what college is about.
And Nashville's not a college city, and it's good to have a little college feel there. Good for Vanderbilt there. Diego Pavia, that quarterback, pesky player. Small, 6 feet, played for New Mexico, played on JUCO before that. That's a guy that's easy to root for in the SEC, trying to make a name for himself.
4 incompletions. 16-20 for 252 and 2
and that
touchdowns.
Last touchdown where it was 4th and 1, you thought they'd run it because that's what they've been doing all game, and he fires it in downfield for a 40-yard touchdown. That is gutsy.
Gets that gaunted Bama defense.
Now, let's flip this a little bit to the Alabama side of things. A little bit of a hangover game after that Georgia win.
Well, they never established the run. I think that's where they went wrong.
Now, is this in any way concerning for Alabama? That's the question I have. Is this concerning in your head?
I think so. Just because, I feel like they lost the line of scrimmage. And when you're Alabama, you're not allowed to lose the line of scrimmage with the athletes you have up front. The good news for Bama, though, their hardest game is Tennessee. I think we all found out that Missouri is kind of meh. Like, we were all wondering.
It's a paper tiger.
Yeah. I liked them going into the year because of Luther Burden and their veteran quarterback, but I think we found out that they're a bit on the fraud side. But at Tennessee, home versus Missouri, at Oklahoma, at LSU, none of those games scare me. And I could even argue.
Tennessee doesn't scare you?
No.
Why?
I wasn't real. I don't want to say.
You were ready to crown Tennessee champion about 4 days ago.
No, I wasn't.
I
like Nico I. I like him as a sophomore quarterback to be elite, hopefully one day in the NFL and throughout the SEC for the next, I know we're almost halfway through this year, but year and a half. Partner, I think it's a whole lot of these teams are going to eat each other. If Alabama loses 2 games, I still think they're in the college football playoff with that win against Georgia. Now, I'm banking on them winning one of these games between Tennessee and LSU. Colin, at LSU, at Tennessee, those are their 2 toughest games I think Missouri and at Oklahoma, I think they could probably win those games convincingly. I know this is a team that just lost to Vanderbilt, folks, but I'm going to, you said it earlier, I'm going to piggyback off of it. It was a bit of a hangover. It was a bit of a, we're down 23-7, but we're going to find a way. And Kyle, they just never found a way.
Well, to that point, that's why I don't have a ton of concern, because Bama can afford this. They bought themselves that leash. And I'm not saying it was anything pretty. It was not a pretty game for Alabama. But we've seen it in the past. Bama can drop a game a year, can drop a game or two a year. And now in the new landscape of college football, they could drop 2 games a year and be okay.
I think would you agree with me that they have to go 3-1 in these games? At Tennessee, home versus Missouri, at LSU, at Oklahoma. I think if they want to make the playoff, they can't have more than 2 losses.
Yeah, I think it's a matter of, 3 regular season SEC losses is probably pretty daunting. So I think 2 would get you either that SEC bid, because you're assuming that Georgia will lose 1 more.
Yeah, and I think if you lose 3, you're leaving it in the committee's hands. And I know the committee would love to have Alabama. Trust me, they're going to give Alabama for the benefit of the doubt.
Statistically, I think if Bama does go 3-1, unless Texas A&M continues what they're doing and maintains consistency, because they do not have an impossible schedule. They only have LSU and then Texas, which is at home the last game of the year. So A&M has actually a chance here to finish with 1 loss and all of a sudden buy themselves a bid in the SEC championship game, because you're going to assume that it's going to be Texas. Texas is going to be that team that has the leeway to get to that SEC championship game. But statistically, Bama's got the head-to-head over Georgia, and if they beat Tennessee, they got the head-to-head over them, and Tennessee's already got 2 losses. Mm-hmm. So all of a sudden, their Bama has that 1-game leeway, and unless you're concerned about LSU keeping it up or Texas A&M keeping it up, 2 losses with a couple of head-to-head winners against other 2-loss teams, you're okay with that. And then Bama gets that bid and gets the bid to the championship game, which will automatically get them a bid into the playoff.
I think that Texas has the easiest schedule among the teams we just named, too, by the way. And all of a sudden, that win at Michigan doesn't look very good. Everyone's like, oh, well, they're at Michigan. That's a really tough game, defending national champions.
Yeah, they got Georgia.
Home against Georgia.
They got Georgia.
But the other, Colin, you're home for that. And the other games, Oklahoma at A&M. I don't rate A&M, and I don't rate Oklahoma. I thought Oklahoma needed to have Jackson Arnold at an elite level to be able to compete this year, and he's not even the quarterback anymore.
The one thing I'll say about
Oklahoma, by the skin of their you-know-what, beat Auburn. And Auburn is just a pitiful football team. I think we could all agree there.
Yeah, but Oklahoma is trending upward. They're coming off a bye, so I'll give them. I think that game's always pretty good and pretty close. And it's a rivalry game, so because of that, I'll keep the door open on that one. But in terms of the other SEC teams, I don't think LSU, despite not having an impossible schedule, they got Ole Miss this week.
Yeah. USC loss looks bad. I will say that.
That looks bad. But Alabama's in a position here where they can afford that loss because they got the head over Georgia. And it's a matter of scheduling at this point. This is what this league has turned to. It's the scheduling.
Can I throw more mayhem in, Colin? Ole Miss. They lost against Kentucky, and they bounced back and won at South Carolina. Ole Miss.
They still have Alabama.
They're
Georgia.
home, and that's a home game for them. And I've kind of come off my high horse a little bit of look out, Kirby on the road against a good opponent. I think he proved he could get his team ready to go even if it is in the second half. He was not ready to go in the first half. But home against Georgia, if Ole Miss beats Georgia, I think the committee is going to have their hands full.
I think
they're going to have their hands full.
Ole Miss is as fraudulent as they come. I've watched them play in a couple games now.
That's my buddy Lane Kiffin.
They're very, very gimmicky. They're Miami Dolphins-esque. If they're not getting that deep shot that they try 1,000 times a game, 1,000 times that kid Jackson Dart is airing the ball out 50 yards down the sideline. He doesn't even care. It doesn't matter if anybody's there. He's chucking it. And that's just gimmicky. And I think Kentucky showed the blueprint on them. Don't give them the ball and defend the deep shot.
Got a home loss, too, to Kentucky.
So in terms of teams I'm concerned about, I think A&M is trending upward. They got a good defense and a good run game. And because
look at you selling the you want to know who that does it? That helps Notre Dame, sadly.
Yeah.
That helps those frauds over there at South
And
Bend. So I don't like to hear
yeah,
that.
Yeah. And I mean, that Louisville loss doesn't mean anything, but Notre Dame's pacing themselves to get a bid.
But I'm not necessarily sold on A&M. I think they need to play the upper echelon.
Of those teams that lost, it's a poll question at ESPN West Palm on X. This is Missouri, this is Alabama, Tennessee, and Miami will include, because Miami now 2 straight weeks here where they escape by the skin of their teeth. And I thought the first one was a good call against Virginia Tech. I think they got the right call on the field. If you want to argue that they shouldn't have overturned it because there wasn't indisputable evidence, it doesn't matter because the call on the field was incorrect.
Right.
And the Berkeley win, where they edged their way back and had that targeting call that gave that they reversed and didn't give Berkeley a first down with 1:50 to go. And Miami escapes that. There's a ton of concern in Miami. So, of those 4 teams, who are you most concerned about?
It's Bama just because I think they have the tougher schedule. If Alabama were to go into that gauntlet that I just mentioned of Tennessee, LSU, Oklahoma, and the fourth is slipping my mind at the moment. Sorry, Tennessee, Missouri, LSU, Oklahoma. I think it's Alabama because of that stretch. If they would have beat Vanderbilt, beat South Carolina at home, and went 2-2 in those games, I thought they would have been in, no matter what. Now, you really set yourself up with a thin margin of error. Miami, I think, is winning that conference outright because I don't think anyone's good in the ACC. And I know
You're still out on Clemson.
Oh, my God, dude. Come on.
There's got to be a conversation eventually, especially for a team that is... Hold on.
Come on.
Hold on.
Come on.
Miami is just escaped by the skin of their teeth against Berkeley, the Brainiacs. And then Virginia Tech took them down to the wire. So it's not like this is going to be a walk in the park for Miami because it's not. Because Miami hasn't made it a walk in the park at all.
And listen, Coach Sweeney, one of the best. I hate to keep doomsdaying Dabo Sweeney here. App State, NC State, Stanford, and Florida State. I'm waiting for them to play someone good. Oh wait, they did and lost 34-3 on a neutral site. That's why I don't rate Clemson. And Colin, maybe you're right. Maybe the whole ACC is just a whole pile of garbage. Maybe they're going to get a bid this year and absolutely embarrass themselves after they get the bye. Maybe that will be the case, but I still think Miami is a better football team than them. I wouldn't be shocked if Louisville or Virginia Tech gives Clemson a game. Now, the toughest game Clemson has on their schedule is at Pitt. So at Wake Forest, Virginia, Louisville, Virginia Tech, at Pitt, the Citadel, and South Carolina. That's Clemson's schedule. What are we doing? You want to know what they're doing? They're setting them up to be in the ACC championship.
We were talking about this with Miami, and Miami has now escaped twice. So I think the fact that they're number one, Miami at least, not battle-tested is going to catch up to them. At the very least, you could say Clemson is battle-tested.
They're battle-tested against bad teams. Would you agree? Miami, battle-tested against bad teams.
Sure. Yeah, we
they've been in these games. The reason I think they're a little bit seasoned and battle tested is because they've had to come back now 2 different times. I agree with you. The call was egregious in Berkeley. The kids should wouldn't be.
He should have gotten.
Agreed. All right, but they've been in close games. Clemson has not been in a close game.
Sure. They played at best team
and got all right. Like I said, I hate to keep doomsdaying Dabo,
but they're going to be in the mix. They're going to be in the mix.
3 points.
They're going to be in the mix, and they might even be the mix for the second bid if that runner-up gets a bid. They might even be the mix for that because of their easy schedule.
But I'd go
for me. Yeah, so you're going Alabama.
Bama. I'm going Bama just because of those 4-game schedule. I think it's harder than on anybody, and I just because I don't necessarily rate Tennessee, I'm going to go Alabama.
I think that Missouri is the easy one here because Tennessee's got a tough schedule, I understand, but I think they're better than Missouri. Missouri, 2 weeks ago, we were talking about how Missouri's got a relatively favorable schedule and has a chance here to get at one of those at-large SEC bids just off of strength of schedule alone. And, yeah, they have talent, but we kind of knew that they're not the top end, but because of this schedule, they could sneak in. Not only have they played 2 tight games in a row before this last week, they had that tight game against Boston College at home, in which Boston College, it was closer than the score indicates. But Vanderbilt, they essentially should have lost that one. And then they got killed at Kyle Field.
Embarrassed.
So now Missouri's sitting here where a week ago it was do what you have to do, beat the teams you have to beat, and you're probably going to get a bid. Now we might be one of the odd men out because A&M's resurgence and a couple other SEC teams that are playing better than us. So I think there's a lot of concern that Missouri could fall into no man's land in a sense after that loss over the weekend. And it was a bad one at that.
It was. And their schedule, it sets up where their one loss was supposed to be Alabama, and that was it, right? I mean, UMass, Auburn, at Alabama, home versus Oklahoma, at South Carolina, at Starkville, who is horrible this year. Mississippi State is horrible. Home against Arkansas. So it was set up that Missouri would beat everybody else.
They sneak behind the pack.
Exactly.
They're sneaking behind the pack. And now you're screwed.
Lose to Alabama, and now it's going to come down to if they could beat
Now you need
tie.
a statement win.
Now you
not even against Alabama, but Oklahoma, you absolutely have to win.
Do you rate Oklahoma still?
Yeah, yes,
okay.
I do.
Okay.
Because they got the young quarterback and they played completely empty-handed last week and they put up a good performance.
I'll be ready for the Red River rivalry this week. I'll tell you, we got a great slate of college coming up. Not to look too far ahead, but I mean, you got LSU and a tough one. You got Texas and Oklahoma. You got my Buckeyes in Oregon. The Buckeyes in Oregon. So I'm ready to roll. I'm ready to roll as far as this weekend.
Does this cause for concern for the Miami side of things, for Alabama, for Missouri? Are those teams, is it concerning for what we have seen from them the past few weeks? I think yes, especially on Miami. I think that team is destined to get pounded by a good team. But that is just my take. 888-760-3776. Phone lines open. 888-760-3776. We continue the conversation. Next, it's Russo and Rizzo live here, ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Halloween fun is brewing at the Gardens Mall. Starting Saturday, October 12th, get into the Halloween spirit when Batty Manor opens in the Grand Court. Gather around the not-so-spooky cottage, and don't forget to wear a costume for the interactive photo op. And from October 26th through October 31st, you can also enjoy Booga and Hooga's Haunted House Party Sing-Along Do-Along Show. The Gardens Mall is located 1 mile east of I-95 on PGA Boulevard. Come experience the Halloween magic.
Time for listener mail. Jim in Jupiter writes, Dear ESPN 106.3, some maniac just cut me off in traffic. What should I do? Jim, do nothing. Relax. Turn up your radio and enjoy the drive while listening to ESPN 106.3. Life's just better that way.
The annual Boca Raton Bowls ABC Supply Great Chefs Tailgate Showcase, presented by Boca Raton Innovation Campus and CP Group, heats up on Tuesday, October 15th from 6 to 8:30 p.m. Join me, Theo Dorsey, with ESPN West Palm at Brick in Boca Raton, as dozens of local chefs, breweries, and cocktail masters serve their favorite tailgate classics. Tickets are on sale now. Visit spiritofgivingnetwork.org/events to purchase your tickets today.
This is ESPN 106.3, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
Find official rules for all your favorite ESPN West Palm contests by visiting ESPNWestPalmContests.com. That's ESPNWestPalmContests.com. You're listening to ESPN 106.3, the ESPN app, and streaming on your smart speaker.
The Palm Beach Health Network Physician Group, an affiliate of the Palm Beach Health Network, is committed to delivering high-quality care to the communities they serve. Their award-winning physicians and specialists provide a level of expertise that has resulted in regional firsts and outstanding patient outcomes. For a physician referral, call 866-654-2362. To learn more about the Palm Beach Health Network Physician Group, visit pbhnphysiciangroup.com, pbhnphysiciangroup.com, to get in touch with the Palm Beach Health Network Physician Group.
Hey, it's Tina. The Pickleball Club of St. Lucie West is now open. Join an amazing club that offers indoor championship quality courts and premium amenities that enhance your game. Whether you're new to pickleball, like me, or an experienced player, young or old, the Pickleball Club's world-class experience is more than just a game. It's a community where you can play, dine, and make new friends. Memberships are now available. Visit thepickleballclub.com for more information and to schedule your tour today.
Business owners, are your employees driving you nuts? Is money tight? Or have you just poured your heart and soul into your business and now it's time to retire and just relax? At Trans World Business Advisors, they have buyers from all over the world ready to buy your business now. Call for a confidential conversation about your business's current value. 561-203-5121. That's 561-203-5121 or visit tworld.com today.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 1063.
Now, if you're a salesman of a bridge of snake oil, anything of the scamming remarks, listen, I got an interested buyer, and he's across from me. Mike Rizzo will
I'm not buying it.
He'll buy anything.
You were the mark.
He'll buy
C-Cat.
The separate the bed springs from the bed. You have to buy those separately. If you're a scammer, go to Mike Rizzo because this guy falls for anything. He'll buy the clouds in the sky if they're there for sale.
There are 14 Nigeria princes that have been supported by Mike Rizzo.
Our IT department apparently sends out phishing emails, and allegedly, I want to say this, I allegedly clicked on 2 of them. I did not click on any of them. And now I have a
What
meeting.
do you mean you allegedly? So IT
I
is
allegedly.
lying?
They are.
They've got it out for Mike Rizzo?
I think they do. I allegedly clicked on 2 of them.
What was the email?
I have no idea. I don't even know what they're talking about. You
Someone
know, you guys
probably
hang
said-
out.
You know what?
If anyone,
I would be okay with it if he knew it was a scam. I made a mistake, but the fact that you didn't know it was a scam makes it a whole lot worse.
He still thinks it's legitimate.
If anyone knows how busy I am at this station, it's you two. You think myself and Brian Rowitz have the time to jump on IT?
Oh, you're compromising the station, Mike.
Oh, I'm not.
Yes.
You're compromising the station.
These are emails sent by our IT department
in preparation for the real ones.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
I'm still convinced I never clicked on a single one.
But that's the problem because you're so
You
busy.
You don't know.
That
Yes.
you're looking at these emails and you take it for face value each and every time. So it's like, oh, I guess my manager does need this form immediately right now. Here's my credit card.
Did I win a free Xbox? Oh, snap. Check this out. And then you put in your credit card information, put in the station address, put in Dave Druta's social security number.
No.
And then all of a sudden, it gets sold online, and Mike doesn't understand that it's a problem.
I have 9 assignments that I have to do for IT.
You've got
9.
homework because you're a bad boy.
9 assignments.
Don't click on phishing emails, Mike.
I don't. I don't.
You clearly do.
Clearly do. Very clearly, Mike.
I don't.
They're not doing this because they think it's funny. They're doing this because clearly you screwed up.
9 outstanding assignments. These people are emailing me on the weekend. They're emailing and bothering Brian Rowitz, who has 2 small children, on the weekend because I clicked on a fake email that was sent by the IT department. Allegedly.
Step one is denial. Step 2 is acceptance.
Allegedly.
We're at the acceptance phase.
Whatever. I'm just going to do what I have to do.
You got to stop compromising the station, Mike.
Now, I'm not compromising anything.
You gotta stop compromising.
Now, Colin, instead of helping prepare for the show tomorrow, I have 9 assignments I have to do for the IT department. 9. Did I mention 9?
No, you didn't actually.
All right.
That's good to know.
I'm happy about this. I think this is good.
All right, perfect. You guys could prep for the show all by yourself tomorrow then.
This is a learning experience,
I got a meeting at 10 a.m. I got to test the line tomorrow at 10 a.m. And then when I get back, it's homework. You're going to see me feel like I'm at Olden Library at Ohio University again. Ridiculous.
You screwed up, Mike. You put people at risk.
Yes, it's like a police officer who discharges their weapon in a situation they shouldn't have, and now they got to go through training.
This is quite an example.
Yes. You saw the movie The Other Guys?
The principle is there.
Yeah, Will Ferrell.
The principle is there.
My God,
they trusted you with having a company email and being involved at this station, and you took that trust and you took a crap on it.
And you fire the weapon in the office. Like the other
You
guys, you get a wooden gun now.
You had a desk pop. Jimmy, what was your last desk pop? September 08. You're Will Ferrell in that movie. Have you seen this movie?
Of course I have. He gets the wooden gun and
This is your
They
one
gave
and
him
gun.
a whistle.
This
They
is
gave
your
him
one and gun.
Seacat, they gave him a
If you one more phishing email and you get the whistle.
Seacat, they gave him a whistle.
Exactly. So what's the equivalent for you? You're just going to get a Fisher-Price phone. You can't even use a phone anymore.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Yeah. They're going to give you like one of those old
right.
computers, the desktops, or with the box computers.
You're not to
You
be
fired
trusted.
weapon in office.
Sorry,
Hold on,
email.
let's,
Goodbye.
You had a desktop.
I wanted to read a couple of the assignments.
I don't know if we should be doing I mean, yeah. Of course. While he finds that, got to tell you.
The Inside Man. Double Trouble. Security Snapshots.
This is how much of an easy mark you are.
Double Trouble.
Yes. You
So
fall
now,
for this stuff.
Now you're telling the scammers listening to the show to go and prepare themselves against the whatever you just said.
Yeah, you're a double agent. You're
and
giving away
now
the
they
secret.
can study, and now you just help the hackers improve.
This is why you're into the trainings, because you're unveiling our secrets over the air.
Okay. Well,
Hard Rock Bet. It's Florida's official sports book for the first time ever. Bet on the Dolphins and the Hurricanes all season long. I'm telling you, if you haven't been betting, if you haven't been watching the season this so far, Hurricanes, it's been a dicey bet nonetheless, but you could finally bet on Hard Rock Bet. Go check it out. Last year, couldn't legally bet in Florida until week 14. We're now in week 5, week 6 now. You could bet on Hard Rock Bet. Each game, you could bet on touchdown scores, passing yards, other stats, total points, who will win, so much more. College football, MLB, the playoffs are now in full force. You could do it in the NFL. In week 1, a Florida bettor went 16 for 16 on a parlay. Picked every winner of every game. Correct in the parlay. $15 bet. What did he turn it into? $104,000 in winnings. Did that on Hard Rock Bet. There's so many options. The Discover page is great. They give you the trendy picks if you don't really know where to go. It's the sports book for the experienced player. It's also the sports book for the first-time player. It's super accessible. It's super easy to get involved. All you got to do to get started is download Hard Rock Bet in the App Store or Google Play Store, or go online to hardrock.bet. And guess what? If you try Hard Rock Bet now, you get up to $100 back in bonus bets if your first bet does not win. This first bet could be a parlay, it could be a prop, it could be the over. Whatever you like to bet, any games you choose, you either win your first bet or get the same amount you bet back as a bonus bet. It's on Hard Rock Bet. Monday Night Football tonight. Plenty of playoff baseball. A huge slate of college football this weekend. This is the time to get involved at Hard Rock Bet. It's offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
You've got some futures ahead of you, don't you, Colin? Who are you rooting for this season?
I took Atlanta over
right.
9.5, which is a good bet right now.
looks good.
I took the Jets over.
Oh,
I'm in
boy.
some trouble.
Okay.
I didn't just win 10 games, though. Still in some trouble. I took the Rams over. I'm in some trouble there. And I took the Titans under. I'm in good shape there. They win under 7 games.
Ooh, that number felt well. I mean, of course, it's easy to say now, but that's a good number for you.
Good number. So I like that. I like the new coaching staff, and Levis was all problematic. So I like my picks there. And then I was terrible in baseball. I went 1-3. So I've had a rough 2-season stretch. I'm putting together my NBA and my NHL ones now.
One future bet will cash for me in baseball, and that's Tarek Skubal.
Cy Young?
Yeah.
I took the Cardinals under. That was the one I won. I took Cincinnati over, got screwed, 81.5. I took the Giants. They finished the game under 82.5.
Gosh, you were right there. I was all over that Cardinal under, too.
Yeah, I thought that was an easy one. I didn't think they would continue it.
Well, Goldschmidt and Arenado just aren't what they used to be. And
Now, Mike Rizzo compromising the station.
guess that's something. Yeah.
That's Christian Cat behind the glass. You got to go to some training. I like that reference. Desktop.
9 training sessions, and then a meeting with the IT department, and my manager has to be on site.
Have you ever been scammed? 888-760-3776. Phone lines are open. I want to hear the story.
Well, yeah, so the equivalent, if we're going to do another one of those equivalencies with the other guys, with a police officer who fires a weapon he shouldn't have, he's taken out of the field, he's put behind the desk. Rizzo's going to be taken from behind the mic. He's going to be doing shows to nobody.
Wow.
Just in a closet. You got to learn your lesson.
Because you compromised the station.
Uh-huh. You got to think long and hard before you answer these emails.
The good news is I allegedly clicked on a link that the IT department set up as a test. So I didn't completely screw anybody over. And like I said, this is all, it's alleged. I
covering
know.
your bases here. No,
Of course.
Mike, you got to own this.
I did not click on those links. I'm sorry. I know I didn't.
I
did not click on those
if they're not setting up a meeting to congratulate you for
it's
not.
fine. Fall on the sword, dude. You want to throw me under the bus? Fine. Wouldn't be the first time. I'll fall on the sword.
Mike,
I just don't know why. I just don't know why my poor manager Brian, our content director here, Brian Rowitz. I don't know why he has to be involved.
Because you're his responsibility. He's the boss.
He failed all of us by allowing you to have an email account.
No, he didn't. It's ridiculous.
They should send you letter by bird or by letter instead. Less chance of being scammed.
Smoke signals from the Rizzo residents.
Ridiculous.
Scammers would catch on.
Yeah.
Because now you're a target. Now that we just talked about it on air, you're a target.
Mm-hmm.
It's all right.
You know the reason why I'm so active to jump on you right now, Rizzo?
You've been scammed.
I have been not scammed, but I've been caught by the same IT person. I did the time. I did the crime. I admitted it.
What'd you say? You just clicked the link?
I clicked the link I shouldn't have. That was a trap from our IT department to find out who the easy marks was. I went through the training. I'm a better person because of it. By not admitting that you got fooled by these scammers, you're kind of part of the problem, Riz.
Allegedly.
So that was CCAT behind the glass. Mike Rizzo, of course. Colin Russo and Rizzo. CCAT, you disagreed with us when we were talking about Miami and that concerning, if you want to put it that way, win over Berkeley following a long week after they beat Virginia Tech. Are you selling on Miami at this point? Or, I mean, at a certain point, what is your perspective on this now that they've had two basically neck-and-neck victories in a row?
Yeah, you can celebrate one of those by the skin of your teeth wins.
Because that happens.
It happens. It's a long season. When you are when you are Miami and you go into Cal, game days there, that's a big game. When you are hosting another ACC opponent in your own building, you're a big game. That game's going to happen. You can't have it happen twice, back-to-back, in prime time. That is a horrible black eye where I'm not waking up on Sunday yesterday as a Miami fan feeling good. I'm feeling like I walked into traffic with a blindfold and I somehow made it on the other end without getting hit by a truck. That's how I feel as a Miami fan.
Yeah.
Because that loss is going to come now.
Cal isn't like world beater, so I see what CCAT's saying here. The moment they play a good team, they're probably going to lose, is what I'm getting from that.
I think you don't even have to say good team.
Well, the problem is they haven't been able to really put together 4 quarters against a conference opponent. That is problematic. You're going to need to put together 4 quarters of football.
But, who have they beaten, too?
Florida was the big marquee win early in the season before we knew how we thought if Florida's going to win a couple of games, this could be one of them in the swamp.
Miami's concerning. It doesn't sound like they're going to be able to put anything together because you're just not sold on it.
They scathed by Virginia Tech. They scathed by Cal on a questionable call, to say the least. And they beat South Florida, Ball State, Florida A&M, and Florida. And I'm sorry to all my Gator fans out there, a bunch of bums.
I think Florida State could actually beat them. As bad as Florida State has been this year, I think right now,
absolutely
I don't have the line ahead of me that game time still.
Not at home.
Yes, watch out for
Clemson.
Florida State is lifeless.
Hi, it's Evan Cohen from
I think Clemson. What's up, Evan? I think Clemson, they convincingly won against Florida State. I think Miami is
Florida State is lifeless.
I'm sorry, I lost Rob.
We need an email from the IT department to man behind the glass. Do some time.
That wasn't my fault.
No, before, CCAT. You got training.
Oh, boy.
Sorry.
Unbelievable.
No, but I seriously think that, watch out, I cannot wait until that line is posted by Hard Rock Bet because I'll be camping out outside of Hard Rock Bet, even though it's on my phone. But I will definitely be taking the Seminoles in that game, even
are you taking Louisville this weekend? They're at Louisville.
I think you get a wake up at Louisville. I'll see what the number is there. I'm not taking Louisville right now.
Louisville also coming off 2 losses.
So they need that game just as much.
Loss against Notre Dame, and who is it?
SMU.
Thank you. Saw them in victory formation.
Miami fans should be absolutely petrified because Heisman this, Heisman that. Cam Ward looked great, made a couple of great throws when he absolutely had to.
Hold that thought. I think that's an overreaction. Speaking of overreactions, we're going to get into Overreaction Monday next, presented by Hard Rock Bet. It's Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
Time now for a PNC pause. PNC Bank is committed to making a difference in the lives of the customers they serve in the South Florida community. See how at pnc.com. You're listening to ESPN 106.3.
Introducing Questionable Call with Josh Cohen, and it's exclusively on YouTube, where JC is breaking down the most viral clips in sports and entertainment.
Because every day above ground is a good day, some are just more questionable than others.
Subscribe to Questionable Call on YouTube right now. New episodes drop every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Anything else is out of the question. Presented by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys, Twin Peaks, St. Lucie Battery and Tire, and Bud's Chicken and Seafood. Yeah, chicken and seafood.
This is the Sports Business Minute presented by the FAU MBA in Sport Management. We're focusing today on the Pac-12 and how they're adding Gonzaga as a member in all sports to school plays starting in July of 2026, according to ESPN. Gonzaga brings a rich basketball tradition to refurbish the Pac-12 as the Zags have reached the round of 16 of the men's NCAA tournament in 9 consecutive seasons. The Pac-12 is still trying to rebuild their conference after most of their teams have left for greener pastures. We'll see if the Pac-12 is able to survive and rebuild. This is the Sports Business Minute presented by the FAU MBA in Sport Management program. Accelerate your career in sports with the program committed to developing top-notch executives and managers with a focus on job placement for students and graduates. The FAU MBA in Sport Management program.
Anajar and Levine.
Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
ESPN 106.3.
WUUB Jupiter, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
It's that time of year again. Preparations are underway for Clinics Can Help's 11th annual Golf Classic at the Wanderers Club. This fun-filled event works to raise money to provide customized medical equipment and supplies to many children in our area in need. Get your foursome together and join the festivities on Friday, October 11th, and make a difference in helping these children live a life of independence and dignity. Register today at clinicscanhelp.org.
Hi, this is Blaine Isbell, Corporate Vice President of Team IP. For over 30 years, Team IP has been a national leader in decorated apparel and promotional products. National corporate brands and 22 college bowl games, including the Boca Raton Bowl, make Team IP their partner of choice. Team IP, located right in our community in Stuart, is a proud partner of ESPN West Palm. Contact me anytime at 877-821-8643 or head to teamip.com and take the first step in making Team IP your team to boost your brand.
Hey West Palm, it's Buster Olney from ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, and you're listening to ESPN 106.3.
Your home for Major League Baseball.
Lease the new 2024 Range Rover Evoque 250S today at Land Rover Palm Beach for only $499 per month with a 42-month lease and only $47.50 down, plus fees and first month's payment. Head over to Land Rover Palm Beach today, located on Okeechobee Boulevard just past the Turnpike, or visit LandRoverPalmBeach.com to set up a test drive of the new 2024 Range Rover Evoque 250S. Land Rover Palm Beach, above and beyond.
Time for listener mail. Bob in Boynton writes, Dear ESPN 106.3, all of these streaming services are getting expensive. I just want football. Bob, you already have ESPN 106.3. Thursday Night Football, Hurricanes, Dolphins, Sunday Night Football, and Monday Night Football, all free. Save your money, Bob. Listen to ESPN 106.3.
Calling all sports fans, grab your MVP card and head to Duffy's where you can catch all of the action. Not an MVP? Sign up for free and start earning rewards today. Duffy's is voted the best sports grill year after year with their award-winning burgers and wings. Don't forget about Duffy's famous 2-for-1 drinks all day, every day. And with over 80 TVs in every location, you'll never miss a minute of the game. Visit Duffy'sMVP.com to learn more. Duffy's, our game is always on.
Good Greek moving and storage. Your superhero movers.
Now, it's time for a little R&R.
Ball into the bucket, lays it up and in.
Ball game, Rizzo! Live in the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, this is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
This team is going to be tough when they finally get it together.
Sit back and relax. Let Russo and Rizzo take you home.
Oh,
mercy. Light him up, Colin.
C-Cat thinks Miami's dead in the water. Mike Rizzo's inviting every Nigerian prince scammer into the office, into the comfort of our workplace. I have been relatively safe. Hurricane Milton's on his way. Whole lot's going on. Every team is losing. The Bills don't know how to how to run the ball at the end of the game to play for OT. Jacksonville won. It's Russo and Rizzo live here, ESPN 106.3. C-Cap behind the glass, Mike Rizzo across from me, Colin Russo here at the City Play Studios in downtown West Palm Beach. C-Cat likes to overreact. Mike overreacts from time to time. I'm guilty of overreacting. Let's get to some Overreaction Monday presented by Hard Rock Bet.
Sound the alarm. Let's jump to conclusions. There's no room for reason. It's Overreaction Monday.
Oh, how could I be so stupid?
Presented by Hard Rock Bet.
Who said at the end? Is that you?
That's not me.
No, I don't think they asked him to record that. Can you record that? Record what?
Can you record you laughing like a maniac?
Hey, C-Cat, found out your great-grandpa died. Let me get you behind a mic real quick. That's what it sounds like. That was a very sad cry.
A plead for help.
Yes.
Overreaction Monday presented by Hard Rock Bet. Week 5, most of it at least, in the books on the NFL side of things. Week 6 in college football away and gone. MLB playoffs in the thick of it at the moment. Yankees playing the Royals tonight. And, of course, on the other side of things, the Guardians' first pitch probably just happened against the Tigers in Cleveland.
Need to put that on.
Mets had a tight one yesterday. And the Padres tied it up against the Dodgers. Both teams going back to San Diego and Philadelphia. What is our overreaction? Let's go around the room.
Okay.
And let's do one each. And we'll do it twice. So 2 total. I want Mike to start. I think Christian Cat should go second. I'll go third. How's that? Does that work?
That works.
Alrighty. Mike Rizzo, take it away. What's your first overreaction of the week?
My overreaction of the week is that the Jets are going to have a losing record. That's my overreaction of the week. I thought the Jets could float anywhere from 9 to 10 wins this year. I thought the early half of their schedule was pretty easy with the Titans, the Patriots, the Broncos, and at the time I thought that Viking game was kind of a shoo-in at home. But I'm going to go with the Jets having a losing record because Bills at Steelers, Texans, Colts, Seahawks, Rams, Bills. I don't see how this thing gets turned around. Rodgers now has a sore ankle. The coach is doomed to be fired. Give me the Jets with the losing record.
Christian Cat.
Joe Flacco's a Hall of Famer.
Wow, that's a pretty good one.
Joe Flacco had the best quarterback postseason of all time with the Ravens.
It's a good overreaction.
Hold on. Because of what he did on Sunday against the Jags, a game in which he lost, he's a Hall of Famer?
I've seen enough from him. He's gone to 2 different franchises and revived their offense when his number was called.
What was it, 356 and 3 touchdowns?
Played a good game. I saw it.
For my guy Big Bird, I miss Flacco so much, dude.
No picks. You see his scramble? Did you see his freaking scramble of
Big
22
Bird.
yards?
So now he's a Hall of Famer?
Absolutely.
I don't think Flacco's
He won his Super Bowl. I don't think to Colin's point, I don't think he has the numbers. But
I don't think he's a Hall of Famer.
He's a gamer. Guy knows how to win for years.
Has Flacco, he's a good postseason performer. Has he ever been a top 6 quarterback at any point in time in the entire NFL career?
In the offseason, between the Super Bowl win and when he went back onto the field with that whole roster gutted by the Ravens, he was considered top 5. And then he played the first game, and then I was like, you know what, that was pretty dumb. Joe Flacco has done this thing twice now. If you were to ask me 3 years ago...
He's the best backup in the league, though. He's by far the best backup in the league.
He might be the best backup of all time.
Oh, God. Probably not.
Best
Probably
backup
not.
of all time is it Foles?
He's got no...
Has he won a Super Bowl?
He's got no business doing what he's doing
Steve
right
Young
now.
was
He's
a backup.
a geriatric.
Hold on. Steve Young was a backup. Is he in the Hall of Fame?
It's a good one, Colin.
He is.
What Joe Flacco is doing, there should be stories written about. Brought the Browns to the playoffs last year. He might do the same with the Colts. I'm not going to say it's not Anthony Richardson's job anymore, but you know what? Flacco keeps outplaying them, He's got no choice.
Flacco doesn't make mistakes like Richardson does, which is why that has worked.
That seems to be pretty valuable in a quarterback, no? Not making mistakes. His arms threw for 359 yesterday.
What do you want to do? Build a statue outside Lucas Oil Stadium because he competed with the worst team in the league?
Somebody's got to.
Wasn't necessary. He did everything I thought to win that game. I wouldn't
agree.
put the loss on him.
I agree. I think Jacksonville played well. I think they caught Jacksonville on a good day. And they can't win in Jacksonville. 10 years they haven't won in Jacksonville. You know that? 10 years. It's not like Jacksonville's winning 10 games a year, I'll tell you that.
Doing that with Alec Pierce, Josh Downs. That's Joseph freaking Flacco to you.
I got my overreaction.
Yeah.
Broncos are going to be a playoff team.
Oh, God.
Ooh.
That's a heck of an overreaction.
Broncos. 3-2.
Right?
3-2. Defensively, masterclass against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Masterclass against the Jets. You can say whatever you want. And then yesterday, after a terrible start in which the Raiders had got off to a fast start, defense started lighting it up. I'm in on the Broncos. Nix is going to continue to improve. He's got a lot of issues, I understand. But they got a good head coach, a proven head coach, a winning head coach, and they got a good defense.
To Colin's point, the games they lost by 6 at Seattle, and Nix played awful. They lost by 7 at home against Pittsburgh. Nix played awful. So you could argue, what did the Jets fans used to tell me? Riz, all we need is a decent quarterback. You could argue if you got good quarterback play from Bo Nix, they could possibly be 5-0.
3-2. Their next 3.
Yeah. Chargers
at home, at the Saints, Panthers at home. That could be 2-1. 2-1 all of a sudden. 5-3.
Are they the second best team in their division? They're better than Khaki Pants' Chargers?
I think just off of health and availability alone, there's a conversation. Watch them get a playoff bid.
Does this feeling that the Broncos are going to make the playoffs, did seeing Sean Payton and Bo Nix go at it on the sideline yesterday in a win, does that help or hurt your opinion on the team?
No problem with that. Payton's a difficult guy to deal with, and Breeze is, I know, a soft-spoken leader, but in a lot of ways, this is good. I'm sure this is not a quarterback turmoil in the locker room because he's a rookie. I like this. That's my overreaction.
And Bo Nix is like 33 years old anyway, so that's an adult talking to an adult.
But he's tough. That's the thing about Nix. He's tough. He's resilient. He doesn't care what happens. First possession of his college career, he threw a god-awful interception for Auburn, and then he played great for the rest of the game against Oregon. I remember it.
Yeah.
18.
Yeah, I was betting on Auburn, so that was a legendary moment in my drunk life.
He's always been a resilient player. Watch the Broncos make the postseason. Mike, one more.
The Buckeyes will win the national championship. I think the SEC...
You were ready to...
I was.
You were ready to call fire.
The only reason is I don't know how healthy these SEC teams are going to be by the time that the college football playoff comes around. It's such... and I'm the first to admit this. I'm a Big Ten guy, okay? The SEC is an incredible conference right now. They have so many good teams within that conference. I think they're going to eat each other. And I think the Buckeyes are going to be able to take care of business in at least one of their 2 tough games. I think they're going to win 1 out of the 2 between Penn State and Oregon. I think they're going to win the Big Ten. They're going to get the bye. And I think when the playoffs come around, they're going to be ready to go. They're going to be healthier than these other teams. Now, you could rarely predict injury. And I know that sounds like what I'm doing here. But I think with their talent on the defensive end, and I mean, we out-physicaled Iowa to the death on Saturday. Say what you want about Iowa, how bad of a team they are. That is a physical football team who usually keeps games respectable. We blew the doors off of them in the second half. And I overreacted like a true Buckeye fan in that first half. I texted Colin. I'm like, God, sorry about the spread. They had that thing covered within 2 minutes of the second half, by the way. But I think Ohio State wins the whole thing just because of how beat up some of these SEC teams are going to be. And I know we have a huge one in Oregon this weekend, and I'm very afraid of that game.
Jury's out because we haven't seen them in a tight game.
But I think Iowa and Michigan State aren't as much as dreads as we may think. You know, the SEC looks at those wins and goes, you beat Iowa and Michigan State. What, do you want a damn trophy? I hear you. But I think the way we have won, too, 38-7. 35-7 at home after only being up 7-0 at halftime. My fear is if they start the way they did against Oregon, they're going to be down 2-3 scores like Georgia was against Alabama in Tuscaloosa.
You want to know what one of the great disgraces of all time is? Imagine the spread of Oregon-Michigan State being 23.5.
Oh, yeah, it was on Friday night.
It was 31-0 with 9 minutes to go against Michigan State. Michigan State scores, fine. Whatever, big deal. Get the ball back with 25 seconds left. In a 31-7 game, they kicked the field goal to cover.
Got to keep the boosters happy.
There is no way you can convince me that these teams don't know and they are not. This is not in the consideration. That is a disgrace.
It is. Agreed.
And you phonies took that pick, and sure, that has something to do with me being upset by this, but that is a disgrace. That is the worst thing. 25 seconds left? That's a little rough.
Okay, you can go a couple ways with this, right? Because what's the objective of your offense? To score as many points as possible and win the game.
It was 31-7.
Go for the end zone.
With 20 seconds left. Kneel.
Go home.
Go in the locker room. This is stupid. What a disgrace.
I would have just went for the end zone. I don't know. At that point, take one last play, throw it up in the air, and move on with your life.
You got an overreaction, C-Cat?
When I die, I will be named a saint. You'll be hearing about St. Christian Cat. And why is that, you might ask?
Is this your overreaction? Oh.
Yes. That's my overreaction. That I will be named a saint when I pass by. Why is that, you might ask? Hurricane Milton's on its way. And I said, damn it, I can't sit here and sit idly by where these dogs are in animal shelters. Going to get rainy, going to get wet, going to be flooded. So we are short-term fostering 2 different dogs from 2 different shelters.
You are?
Yeah. My girlfriend just picked up the dog named Hodor from the Palm Beach County Animal Shelter.
Hold the door. Hold the door.
Wait, so you have 2 dogs or you already have a dog?
I have 2 dogs already, and we were going to short-term foster 2 other dogs.
Sea-Cat's running a kennel
Hold
for
on.
Hurricane Milton.
This is a gamble. This is a gamble. You don't know what type of dogs these are.
We vetted them. They've got their
You
shots.
vetted? No,
They're healthy.
Yeah, they're not rabid. I understand that. But, how are they going to, what's the camaraderie going to be like?
We've done this in the past, a couple of years ago, and the only problem was letting go of these dogs because they really found a spot in our heart. But, and I say this to say this now, if you want to help out, make sure you reach out to your local animal shelter. Yeah, the Palm Beach County Animal Shelter, because they are looking for more short-term fosters. They take care of everything, the food, the supplies, and the support. They just need you to provide a safe, loving space during the critical time. Free up some space for their shelter, and you save another life in the making.
Jokes aside, Sea-Cat, that's awesome, bro.
Yeah.
Seriously. Fair play on you, brother.
What do you have to say about that, Colin? Do you also want to congratulate me on being a good person and being made a saint?
I wouldn't make you a saint.
I don't like you publicizing.
I'd vote against it.
Actually,
if there was a vote in a common room, I would vote against it.
This had to be your girlfriend's idea.
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
It certainly was.
See, I got to the bottom of it.
I signed off on it.
Got to the bottom of it.
Listen, is it a good thing? Keep the dogs now I'm worried about the dog's camaraderie. If you get a little rascal, there's a I'm going to hold my tongue here. I was going to say there's a reason they're in the shelter.
Listen.
Oh, my God.
You don't know what type of dog this is.
I've got my clubhouse.
There's a reason he's there.
I would not bring a clubhouse cancer into this locker room.
You're
Hodor is going to fit right in.
Listen,
he's going to be a glue guy. He's going to be a Jazz Chisholm on the Yankees.
Yeah, okay. There's examples where this doesn't work out. But, okay. Are you going to screw up the mojo?
ACCfoster at pbc.gov. Email them, reach out, help out, save a life.
What a boy, Sea-Cat.
DJ, you just brought in DJ Uwagalele into Florida State.
These dogs have no NIL deals. They're not being paid nothing.
You just brought in DJ U. Coming off an undefeated season, riding high.
No. This is Diego Pavia.
And you got this dog who's transferred 3 times.
This is New Mexico State's Diego Pavia. I brought him in, and he's going to beat Alabama.
You brought in a locker room cancer. Unbelievable.
Haven't even met Hodor. I'm going to bring him in tomorrow. Show him off.
Is he named after the Game of Thrones character?
I would guess.
I got to assume.
Did you see Game of Thrones, guys?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
I would guess.
What's your final overreaction? Overreaction Monday brought to you by Hard Rock Bet.
Nice, Sea-Cat.
Mets are going to the World Series, and they lost yesterday, and it was a good loss.
Their bullpen failed them.
3 times. since last Monday. I know we got a Phillies fan watching this.
Oh, Terry.
3 times since Monday, 3 different players. The Mets have gotten a 2 or 3 run shot to tie it up or take the lead in 3 different MLB ballparks for 3 playoff NL teams. Atlanta, Milwaukee on Thursday, and then yesterday with Vientos' homer to tie it up at 6. This is magic. It doesn't matter if they lost. Oozing magic. This team's making it all the way.
How about Castellanos? I mean, Philly fans hate Castellanos, I feel like, and all he does is hit big home runs in big moments.
During tragedies. Have you ever seen this?
I think John, our buddy John O'Terry, our MC, by the way, Philly fan, I think he was telling me about this earlier.
The day Castellanos hit his first homer in the minors, and he hit like 2 homers over like 152 games, was the day Osama bin Laden was killed in Operation Desert Spear, I want to say, or whatever it was. But that happened. He hits homers famously during the Tom Brenneman situation. He hits homers when stuff goes wrong. There's a whole list.
The day Trump got shot. I think he hit a home run on that day.
He did a home run that day.
God.
Wow. Castellanos, I'll find it next break. But that's my overreaction. I think the Mets are going to make the run here. Going back to Citi Field with 2 at home. Listen, they got Manaea going next. I'm a little concerned about that. But they got magic.
I can hardly say starting pitching. I mean, Sevy went 6 innings, 3 earned, 7 strikeouts. Even on the other side for the Phillies, too, Sanchez goes 5 innings and keeps it under 3. It's been the story of whose bullpen can outlast each other, I feel like, this playoffs. I know that Padre and Dodger game was crazy. I feel like that's the outlier last night. But
Darvish pitched well. I'm surprised. And he got out of that when bases loaded, 1 out.
Yeah, you're not a Darvish guy.
No, you need 2 hands to count how many games he's blown in the postseason. Nonetheless, that was Overreaction Monday, presented by Hard Rock. Bet on Russo and Rizzo live here on ESPN 106.3. Couple overreactions that are quite concerning there, but nonetheless, that was a whole lot of fun. Hard Rock Bet. It's offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Call 1-888-ADMIT-IT. On the flip side of things, what were the Bills doing yesterday? Get back in the game, claw their way back in. Sean McDermott, questionable call once again. We get into that next. It's Russo and Rizzo live here, ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Hey, it's your boy JC. The Buffalo Bills caught lying about Josh Allen's concussion. We have the evidence. Today's brand new Questionable Call with Josh Cohen, exclusively on YouTube. Subscribe now on YouTube. Questionable Call with Josh Cohen. Brand new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
ESPN 106.3 is presented by Rubenstein Law. 1-800-FL-LEGAL. Car accident, truck accident, Uber or Lyft accident, or a slip and fall. Call Rubenstein Law. Call 1-800-FL-LEGAL and visit one of our offices throughout Florida.
This is the Sports Business Minute presented by the FAU MBA in Sport Management. We're focusing today on the Pac-12 and how they're adding Gonzaga as a member in all sports to school plays starting in July of 2026, according to ESPN. Gonzaga brings a rich basketball tradition to refurbish the Pac-12 as the Zags have reached the round of 16 of the men's NCAA tournament in 9 consecutive seasons. The Pac-12 is still trying to rebuild their conference after most of their teams have left for greener pastures. We'll see if the Pac-12 is able to survive and rebuild. This is the Sports Business Minute presented by the FAU MBA in Sport Management program. Accelerate your career in sports with the program committed to developing top-notch executives and managers with a focus on job placement for students and graduates. The FAU MBA in Sport Management program.
Hey, it's Josh Cohen. When you need auto repair, honesty and reliability are everything. Trust the home for honest, reliable service since 1970. St. Lucie Battery and Tire. St. Lucie Battery and Tire has all the tire and battery brands in stock for cars, trucks, RVs, marine, power sports, golf carts, everything. Major and minor service repairs, free tire pressure, battery checks. St. Lucie Battery and Tire, over 50 years in our community. And now with 18 full-service locations, West Palm to the Treasure Coast. Go to slbt.com. That's slbt.com.
Hey, Steph Prince here, General Manager of ESPN West Palm, to tell you about a team that has meant a lot to me and this community for a long time. Bob and the team at Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning have been helping me stay cool for years, whether at home or in the office. And living in South Florida with 3 kids, I don't know what I'd do without them. Family owned and operated, serving Royal Palm Beach and beyond since 1980. Let the knowledgeable and trained team at Bradley help you with your residential and commercial needs, installation, repair, seasonal maintenance, upgrades of all makes and styles and models of HVAC equipment, and so much more. Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning does things right the first time and makes the process smooth, stress-free, and most importantly, keeps you cool. Give them a call at 561-793-7497. That's 561-793-7497 or bradleyair.com. Any need, big or small, trust the amazing team at Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Well, there's nobody that's going to be crowned a champion this week in this landscape of college football, in the landscape of MLB, in the landscape of the NFL. But at least there's a couple past champions. Mike can tell us all about a past champion in Kaiser University. Mike, what's going on with
Current champion.
Yes, current champion. So the Kaiser Seahawks are the current champions of football, and they have a plethora of championships across their sports. I mean, you go into their gym. We were there for our Top 63, and by the way, I'm wearing my Top 63 shirt today. You see that?
I do.
When we do our Top 63 at Kaiser, you see all the championships scattered across. Folks, check it out. Kaiser University is the place to be to watch some great sports, and I want to remind everybody, too, I'm the color broadcaster for the Kaiser Seahawks. Cyrus Witten does play-by-play. I'm on the color for all of the Kaiser home games this season. Now, I will not be at the one this weekend, and I don't even know if weather will permit us to even play a game coming up this weekend, but I will not be at the one coming up on Saturday.
Where are you going to be?
But I got more family. Colin, all I do is host people.
Who's coming into town?
It's all my Uncle Patrick. I think my dad's coming into town, so got a lot of people coming in. Yeah, packed weekend again. But Kaiser University, folks, go check them out. Championships across all of their sports. The Kaiser University Seahawks. And also their flag football team, our intern Ashley. She's on the flag football team. They went all the way to the championship last year, hoping they could win a championship this year.
Kaiser University champions, the reigning football champions.
NAIA, baby.
63 conference tournament titles. Wow, including a Learfield Cup trophy. Russo and Rizzo live here on ESPN 106.3, 888-760-3776. The number to get into the program, 888-760-3776. The Bills yesterday fall behind early against the Houston Texans after a terrible loss a week ago against the Baltimore Ravens. Bills fall behind early, claw their way back in a lot of senses, even force a stop with about a minute to go, tied at 20. Had the ball at their own 3 or 4 yard line, 30 seconds to go. Texans have 3 timeouts. The Bills have none. Not enough time for a miraculous drive to get back into the game and win. Probably not, you'd assume. What do the Bills do? They essentially 3 straight firing shots downfield from Josh Allen, one to Mac Hollins and company. They take off 8 or 9 seconds total off the clock and punt it back. A tight punt. All of a sudden, Texans have 3 timeouts, get a 10-yard return, 12-yard return. They're at field goal range. Lose the game. Do we have a problem, Mike? Do you have a problem with McDermott there, with that scheduling and how he did that clock management?
I
or
do.
is it getting overrated a little bit?
No. I do have a problem with it. How many times have I been telling you Buffalo hasn't been able to run the ball for the last decade that they've almost had Josh Allen?
Well, it's been solid this year and last year with James Cook in the mix, but I understand.
But and then when the head coach is, he's taking ownership of it, right? I mean, after the game, Sean McDermott basically said, "Hey, the clock management stuff's on me, and we'll be better for it." It's bad. It's bad decision making, and a head coach of Sean McDermott's caliber, quite frankly, I'm shocked. I go to bat for McDermott. I go to bat for this Buffalo Bill team. I know the Bills are, the lovable losers, whatever you want to call them. In the 90s, they went to all those Super Bowls and never got it done. Recently, they missed the field goal to tie it against the Chiefs. They didn't get the ball back against the Chiefs in the playoffs. There's always something with the Bills when it comes to competing for a Super Bowl. And I don't think we're on that level yet. It's just too early on in the year. They won their first 3 games against 3 subpar opponents, but now they've played 2 good opponents and they're 0-2. Colin, if you remember last week, I got to eat some crow. I thought this was a game that the Bills were going to win. I thought this was going to be kind of a get-right game for the Bills after losing 35-10 against the Ravens on primetime. And Josh Allen played a bad game. 9 of 30.
Terrible.
Allen threw 9 of 30, and this is 2 games in a row now that Josh Allen, who I rate very highly, who I'm still going to make excuses for because I think he is the second best quarterback in the league behind Patrick Mahomes, but this is his second bad performance. What happens if they lose to the Jets? I told you guys, we did Overreaction Monday presented by Hard Rock. I told you guys the Jets are going to have a losing record. But, Colin, if the Jets do beat the Bills next week on primetime on Monday Night Football, the Jets will be number 1 in that division because you got the Patriots and the Dolphins who are miserable. So you better win next week. And that's 3 road games in a row, at Baltimore, at Houston, and at New York. I don't think any Bills supporter in their wildest dreams thought they would be 0-3. Now, obviously, we still got to play the game at New York, but the way they're playing, I'm not convinced they could beat anybody at the moment.
Yeah, Bills have not been playing well. And Sean McDermott, a couple of times now throughout his, I think, 8 years in Buffalo where there's just brain farts. And they shoot themselves in the foot, whether it's an over-aggression thing, letting Josh Allen do his thing. This has happened a couple of times. So I don't. Now, another thing to that, the Texans were going to call timeouts anyway, probably. And if they ran the ball a handful of times, coming from their own 4 and got stopped, the same thing might have happened. But the idea that you didn't take off any time off the clock, you didn't even give them a chance, and you just took a bunch of Hail Mary shots, it's lazy. It's stupid. And it burned you. And now this looks bad. Am I ready to call fire? Probably not. But the Bills, it's almost like they're trying to be something they're not. They have to let the game come to them and enough hero ball.
The Bills historically the last couple of years, I feel like, go through these ruts, right? If it's in the middle of the season or in the beginning of the season, but at the end of the year, they usually figure it out and start playing and really start playing good football. I wonder if that's just the case right now. For instance, last year, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They won 5 games in a row to end the year. They won at Kansas City. They beat Dallas. They won at Los Angeles. They beat New England and Miami. We see them get right at the hot time. I don't want to steal a baseball reference, but in baseball, you got to get right at the hot time. That's a lot of the argument. The problem is the Bills get hot at the end of the year and then fall flat on their face in the playoffs. So would I like them to win one of those games against good opponents with the Ravens and the Texans? Yes. But as long as Josh Allen is healthy, I know he got banged up in that game. I know nonetheless, a lot of people are questioning if he should have been playing in the game, but as long as Allen is healthy, Colin, I think they're a threat. And I think that at any given moment, they could go on a Super Bowl run.
Yeah, it's almost a matter of getting in your own way has hurt them, and you lose a bad game. And that's a game that could always have a head-to-head tiebreaker implications.
Yeah. They can't afford bad coaching, though.
Yeah.
McDermott can't afford to do stupid stuff like that.
There's no guarantee that game would have went to overtime, and there's no guarantee that they would have won had they went to overtime. But the idea that you sort of handed the game to the Texans in a lot of sense, questionable. Head-scratching. It's very strange. And I don't think it's anything to, freak out about, an Armageddon. But nonetheless, I do think that was a questionable decision right now. With the Detroit and the Cleveland Guardians playing game 2 right now in Cleveland, Tarek Skubal's on the mound. Cleveland, of course, leads that series 1-0 after a very defiant victory in game 1.
David Fry, baby. Let's go.
Didn't even hesitate to blow the game open in game 1. But Tarek Skubal on the mound, Detroit desperate need of, evening back this series a little bit before they head back to Detroit. We get into some baseball. The Yankees, of course. Yankee fan behind the glass, Christian Cat. They got the Royals tonight at 7:38. Carlos Rodon on the mound against Cole Reagans. Mets, Phillies, another fantastic game. Fantastic baseball over the weekend. We get into that more next. It's Russo and Rizzo live here, ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys at 1-800-747-FREE, 1-800-747-FREE. Listen, if you're in an accident, car accident, truck accident, slip and fall, trip and fall, injured on the job, workers' comp issues, call Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. They will fight for you. They do not get paid unless you get paid, and they will fight to get you the maximum compensation that you know that you deserve. Do not deal with the insurance companies on your own. That's impossible. They make it as such. Anajar and Levine will help you to take back control of your life. Again, you'll always talk about your case with an actual attorney. They answer the phone 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to help you to take back control of your life. Call 1-800-747-FREE, 1-800-747-3733. Car accidents, truck accidents, slip and fall, trip and fall. Call Anajar and Levine, my accident attorneys. Anajar and Levine, accident attorneys. Take back control of your life.
Is racking up tens of thousands of dollars in student loan debt really worth the 4-year degree? Not a lot of people think so anymore. A recent Wall Street Journal poll found that 56% of us believe that a skills-based education, that's a smarter investment than a 4-year degree. So why waste that time and money when there's an alternative right here in North Palm Beach that teaches the skills that people can actually use in today's world, and you can get those skills in just months, not years. I'm talking about CSB Media Arts Center, the home of Connecticut School of Broadcasting, which provides hands-on training in audio and video production, podcasting, sports broadcasting, social media marketing, filmmaking, coding, and so much more. For over 60 years, CSB has placed thousands of graduates in careers. Take a moment and visit GoCSB.com to schedule a tour. That's GoCSB.com.
Hi, I'm Michael Manzo, owner and founder of Manzo's Italian Deli, and
Stop, Dad. After 20 years, people are tired of hearing your voice.
Yeah, and your lame-ass commercials.
Fresh prosciutto, mozzarella, outstanding.
Oh, please.
There's only one reason Manzo's has voted #1 deli in Palm Beach County for 20 years. Our mother.
She makes sure you prepare everything from scratch using only the freshest ingredients.
Manzo's Italian Deli is located on Palm Beach Lakes Boulevard, right next to Rain Dancers.
Is that a strip club?
No, it's a steakhouse. Manzo's is open weekdays from 8 to 5 and offers free delivery. So stop by or call 697-9411. That's 697-9411.
we also specialize in hot and cold catering for corporate functions and special events.
Just ask anyone who was at my last birthday party.
On ESPN 106.3, you heard? The Texas Rangers win the World Series.
He struck him out looking. It's over. The Rangers have won the World Series.
This is ESPN 106.3, where champions are crowned.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
A quick run through of what happened over the weekend on the baseball side of things. MLB Divisional Series are rolling through right now. Game 1's all on Saturday, a 4-game stretch, a full slate. Guardians, of course, the aforementioned Guardians who are playing right now in Game 2. Throttled the Tigers early and often 7-0 in that one. The Mets, of course, Turn it around the second after a great start from Zach Wheeler for the Philadelphia Phillies. The Mets turn it around and attack the bullpen the second Wheeler gets out of there after 7 scoreless. The Yankees, on the other hand, in a back-and-forth ugly match against the Kansas City Royals where a lot of back-and-forth occurred. There was a lot of battle of the bullpens.
And a bad call.
And a bad Jazz Chisholm call.
Bad call.
Which allowed them to be the go-ahead run.
New York getting calls? Shocker.
Yeah, and I agree. It was a bad call. But another thing I'll say to that is the Royals were walked in freaking 3 runs. So at a certain point, you don't put yourself in that position. Dodgers, on the other hand, bit of a back and forth. Ohtani, second at bat, locks a 3-run shot. They played again yesterday. That series is tied at 1-1. Who's the ultimate winner of the weekend there? Are you going to say your Guardians?
Depending on what happens today, but I mean, I know it's Monday. 7-0. You can't argue that. I feel like we could go down the line on teams that played and could make an excuse for each. Like the Mets had it won yesterday, not won, but they had momentum and they screwed themselves over. The Yankees got a call, and how about can I give you a loser of the weekend? Can I give you a loser?
Okay.
Dodger fans. They were throwing stuff on the field last night. They were getting active with Profar. How about Profar's robbery, too? One of the best catches you'll see in postseason.
I thought that whole situation was a little put on. I really do.
And to have the presence of mind to put it on was incredible. In a playoff game, to rob a home run and not immediately give into the impulse of, oh my God, this is an incredible play, I'm fired up in enemy territory. No, he had the presence of mind to fool America. That's incredible. Come on.
Guardians and Padres. Those would be my 2 winners from both.
I'm a Profar guy. My initial headphones, my Bose headphones that I had that broke a couple years ago were named Jurickson Profar.
It's a weird thing to do.
Why are you naming your headphones?
It's like Bluetooth. You can name it.
Oh, sorry.
And I named it Jurickson Profar.
Well, yeah, he was a good Oakland Athletic at the time.
He was not. He was a 6-hitter, but he blossomed a little bit when he got to San Diego. He used to be the number 1 prospect in baseball. But I think that was a little put on. They stopped the game for 20 minutes. Let's go. Oh, my God. You're sitting there. Darvish is like doing air squats on the mound, just waiting for this game to get going again, talking about player safety. The guys are fine. Get him out in the outfield.
Well, Collins guy, you Darvish dealing, man.
I mean, he escaped that 3rd inning when they had the bases loaded. But, Darvish pitched well. I'm not going to lie there. But Darvish, he stinks.
Yeah, but
he stinks.
I question Jack Flaherty. You start to look at that Dodger starting pitching staff and go, all right, Yamamoto, Flaherty, do they have enough starting pitching to maybe go on a run?
They have pitching enough. They're going to have to hit their way out of every game. That was the theme after game 1. When they had Treinen in there at the end of the game and they were edging out every out, oh, boy, you could tell that Dodgers are going to need to hit their way out of every single game the entire way.
I mean, from the 6th inning on, it was, the home run derby. Merrill homer, Bogarts homer.
Yeah.
The catcher homer, Tatis homered.
They blew it open. But from what I saw from game 1, if the Dodgers can maybe sneak a start here and there, that's pretty solid. But they're going to need to hit their way out of every game. The Padres do both. They can pitch and they can hit. And they hit early. So, yeah, the Padres got the edge on that one. But that whole stoppage of play, oh, God, start the game.
So you're talking about the fans throwing stuff on the field?
Yeah, it's stupid. I know Dodger fans are miserable people, but the idea that...
I mean, why are you throwing stuff on? It's disgraceful.
Profar was ready to cry. Dude, get a grip, all right? Unclutch your pearls. All right, everything's going to be okay.
We were arguing about 2 different things. I was talking about robbing the home run.
Yeah, I know. He's talking about people throwing and stuff at him. Did you see him talking to the umpire? And like the whole team had to get together in the infield? Guys, come on. This is stupid.
Like it's a death to disco night?
Guys, they threw a water at you. All right? Geez, have you been to a game in Oakland? Like, come on. This is what they do.
So you asked who won the weekend. Got to be the Phillies for me. That team was dead in the water. I had Philly fans in group chats that I went to college with essentially playing the piano on the Titanic about their season already.
They do this,
Talking about how it's over, we're dead, why do we care, trade Castellanos. And then all of a sudden, with 2 swings of the bat on 3 pitches, Harper gone, Castellanos gone, tie ball game 3-3, and it all changed like that. Because if they're down 2-0, going back to New York, season's over.
But, like, if you're a Philly fan, you got to know that you're never out of it. How many times, like, I know the Phillies don't have any hardware.
If you're a Met fan, you're never out of it. You are never out. You are never dead.
But for the last 2 years, the Phillies have been able to mount comebacks in the playoffs. So, like, I guess to sit there and go, woe is me, trade Castellanos, and it's the 6th inning and we're done. Like, I don't know. It's a bit foul for me.
I agree. I think the Philly fans are
foul.
so overrated, especially John O'Terry, who's in the office. These guys are, imagine game one. All I heard all week from our Philly fans was how great of a home field Citizens Bank Park is and how it's an impossible place to play baseball. That's all I heard. That's all you hear from Philly fans. Oh, it's Red October, and you can't get anything. You can't hear the pitch comm. It was the 8th inning after that explosion by the Mets in game one, and there's empty seats behind home plate. You guys are so full of it. It's incredible. Thinking that they're riding on the high. I can't deal with that. What an overrated fan base. You could hear a pin drop after that Vientos homer. There was no energy in that building. The Philly fan is so overrated. Such a little brother New York school of people. Let's think about this for a second. They have a rare amount of success. The Eagles have been, in and out. But the idea that they're trying to make a name for themselves as a city, but all they're known as is the second fiddle to little brother New York. And that's what they try to be. And it doesn't work. Empty seats behind home plate, game one, bottom 8? Really? Stupid. Waste of time. And I saw it in a bunch of phonies, all those fans. I can't deal with it.
Can they win in New York?
Yeah. But I think the Mets are oozing magic. So it's going to be terrific. They wasted a Wheeler start. That's what they did. Zach Wheeler was terrific. The Mets were dead in the water. Dead. I thought the Mets were screwed after those first 7 innings. And then all of a sudden, they take Wheeler out in the 8th. They blow it open. That's the Mets. Incredible.
I don't know. I feel like we're looking at two parallel teams that feel like it's their destiny. They somehow win these games they shouldn't, both the Mets and the Phillies. And maybe I'm fantasizing about 2 years ago Phillies right now, but I don't know. That Castellanos solo home run to tie it kind of did it for me.
Hoffman and Strahm were horrific. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. The two
Strahm's consistently great.
That's what I mean. But to pin it all, I feel like on Strahm would kind of be unfair just because how great he was, right? I mean, I know he blew the game, but like that happens sometimes.
There's a lifeless offense in game one, lifeless, and all of a sudden Wheeler's out and they blow the game open. I know the bats were asleep, but geez, come on, a little help for Zach Wheeler wouldn't hurt. Jeez, that was ridiculous. But this is what the Mets do. The last 2 innings are the best team I've ever seen. It's incredible.
Vientos really that was really impressive. Honestly,
he's making himself millions and millions and millions of dollars with his postseason performance. But I think the Mets are going to be that magic is going to be tough to beat, especially in New York with that phony Citizens Bank Park in the rearview mirror. At this point, the Mets have a chance here. I think it will go 5, but that favors the Mets in a lot of ways.
Those fans are going to be ready to go.
They did it in Milwaukee. They did it in Atlanta. They might do it again in Philly. That would be the biggest screw you to the rest of the NL.
How excited are those Mets fans to get home, too? They've been on the road for what now? 4 straight games, 2 to end the year?
They've been on the road for like 3 weeks. Because
that's what I mean, right?
They were on the road in the Atlantic series, and all of a sudden the hurricane came through. So they went to Milwaukee, then they went back to Atlanta, then they went back to Milwaukee, and then now they went to Philly.
Yeah. They've been home. They haven't been home in a while. Those fans are going to be rabid. Talk about rabid dogs.
And the big loser of the weekend has got to be Detroit, running out of gas. So they didn't even bother. At least every other team showed a little bit of life.
No, they tried to do the same thing they did in Game 2 against Houston. They started Holton, I believe. That blew up in their face. But I was fist pumping on the YouTube stream because the guards, there were 2 runners on, 1 out. The guards got out of it. But Skubal has his stuff. I don't even think I have to watch us taking it bat until the 6th or 7th inning when Skubal's out of the game. And on the flip side of things right now, Matthew Boyd, former Detroit Tiger, who the Guardians basically picked up for a pack of Starburst, is starting today.
If you could book the World Series as if this is wrestling, where you just pick the matchup for your biggest enjoyment and for the betterment of the country, who would you book right now?
For the betterment of the country, Dodgers, Yankees. But what I think is going to happen is going to be Mets, Yankees.
Yeah, Dodgers, Yankees would have countrywide appeal.
Yeah, see, the Yankees were concerning because Judge played like crap. But it was the first game in a week, and you didn't get a lot out of Cole and Judge, and you still won. You got to take that.
I feel like I tried. Dude, Judge in the playoffs just isn't it.
It's been one game.
It's been one game.
It's been the guys.
7 days prior.
That guy is a strikeout king in the playoffs. Strikeout king in the playoffs.
He's had one complete bad playoff year. You look at the years outside of 2022.
He hasn't been a great postseason.
He is not.
I didn't say that. I said he had one horrible.
But like I don't want you guys. I don't want I'm not going to let this just go by the wayside. Like Judge has been a bad postseason player.
Yeah,
he was
but
one year.
I don't think you could chalk up that he's just never going to show up ever again.
Oh, I'm not arguing.
He might hit 3 homers tonight,
brother. I'm not saying it's set in stone. But from what I saw, the disgrace that he was in Game 1 and recency bias for the last 2 years, guy's got to do something here.
Yeah, but you know what's great? Juan Soto is as elite of a postseason player as you could find, and their bullpen pitched well. And the biggest question coming into the season was support for Judge and bullpen. And in a lot of ways, with Torres hitting a homer and this and that, that support is a positive for the Yankees. The fact that their bullpen, Conley and Weaver, pitching well, Holmes, I think, gives you a little bit of that's what the Yankees need. Cole didn't do well, and they were able to edge out that victory. Lucky, but they were able to edge out that victory. What's your take tonight? They got the Royals game 2 tonight. Rodon's on the mound. This is the second game they play. They have a lot of days off here.
Yeah.
And it's a bad scheduling.
It's a butchery of Major League Baseball. What advantage do the Yankees even have now other than getting more of the 5 games at home when you're giving all of these days off willy-nilly?
I was upset.
And they don't play tomorrow.
Excuse me. I was upset the guards didn't play yesterday, too. I thought everyone should have played yesterday, but that's just me.
I think they're trying to split up the Mondays. They don't want anybody to travel in between games.
And they want
also NFL.
And they didn't want the Yankees up against the football.
Sure.
I understand.
But start the series on Friday.
Yeah, then you get screw off you only get screwing one wild card team and that's the Mets, but I understand your point.
Travel day on NFL Sunday, and you play game 3 on Monday.
Well, they're trying to mix it up because they're trying to avoid the NFL actively, and I think they don't want you can't have no baseball each day, I think, after the Friday during the divisional series. I think a collective off day would be a little rough.
I think America would appreciate a baseball off day in the playoffs on NFL Sunday collectively, because you feel like you're missing out. How many baseball fans are out there that don't watch a lick of NFL football? Not many.
I think
watch both.
I think that Met and Philly game was better than any game played on Sunday yesterday.
There was a lot of good games yesterday. I don't know if I'd say that, but it was a good game.
I think that baseball game was better than anything the NFL had yesterday.
It was a great game.
But I also love baseball, so like I know people that are listening right now couldn't care less about baseball.
But the thing,
it's a great game.
It's TV scheduling. You got to understand that. You can't think about the actual fit. You got to think about TV scheduling.
Yeah, okay. Avoiding football altogether on Sunday would be good for TV ratings.
It's beneficial, but you're gonna have to. They do that with the World Series. They're doing that with the World Series. No Sundays, no Thursdays, and they have like one Saturday and it'd be Game 7. So they're avoiding it. But the problem is you're gonna have to get killed for 1 or 2 days. The way they didn't handle it right is the travel days with the Yankees. They have to sit around in New York for a day in between. I agree. It's stupid. And they didn't handle it right. Now the Yankees are playing 2 games in 9 days.
From a Yankees fan perspective, you asked my thoughts on this. Like you said, bad game from Cole, bad game from Judge.
And they still won.
Aaron Judge,
horrible
take
call.
his over on total bases tonight. That's what I'll say on Hard Rock Bet. Aaron Judge is going to show up, and he's going to shut a lot of people up.
Really?
Guaranteed.
Reagan's is good. So you got Reagan's on the, but I guess you just got to get to the bullpen. That's strategic that Quattraro, the manager of Kansas City, likes to do the strategic 3, a new pitcher for every 3 batters based on matchups. That's not going to work consistently on the road against the Yankees. That's what I'll tell you about that. So I don't think that they're going to do that. But if they could get 6-7 out of Reagan's, they're going to be in it as much as anybody.
The Yankees are starting John Birdie at first base, and he's never played first base before.
Really?
Yeah. He's in the lineup. I couldn't believe it when I saw it. Scrolling my phone. That's a hell of a choice to do in a ALDS game.
They're not going Rice? Okay, interesting. I didn't realize that.
John Birdie, as Marlins fans know, former Miami Marlin, got to watch him a bunch during spring training right up the road. Starting John Birdie at first base for the New York Yankees in a home playoff game.
Yeah, you know who stinks? Stanton. Can't run.
Two runs off the scoreboard because Giancarlo Stanton runs like he's 75.
He can't move.
It's incredible. He was so, it's like he's so stiff. I know he's huge, but oh my God, dude.
No, he didn't used to. I mean, remember when he was with the Marlins? I feel like he can move a little bit, no?
He can move.
Is it because of all the injuries?
It's because he's built himself like a bodybuilder. That's why.
Sure.
Russo and Rizzo live here, ESPN 106.3. 2 games tonight, one going on right now. Bottom 3 with 2 outs. Tarek Skubal on the mound taking on the Guardians in Cleveland. Of course, the Royals and the Yankees facing off tonight on TBS. Bob Costas, once again, who had a rough call the other night.
What else?
7:38.
Listen, and I love for the record, I love Bob Costas, but it's similar to the Al Michaels thing.
Gleyber Torres is hitting a homer first inning, and the first thing Costas says is that would not be a homer in other ballparks. Bob, understand the moment. Bases loaded, bottom 5th. Yankees got some guys on, and you're talking about train tracks and everything. Bob, let's understand the moment a little bit.
And they lowered the crowd noise because
did they lower it? I just thought
Bob Costas speaks a little bit quieter.
Maybe. I just thought it was so. I just think that the energy was there in the building.
It certainly was. If you look at cell phone video,
the energy was there.
Yeah.
Well, the TV did not do it justice because it looked dead in that stadium. Terrible. True Zone Rizzo live here, ESPN 106.3. We're going to do some 5 at 5 next. Stick around. ESPN 106.3.
Kaiser University's flagship campus, the 100-acre residential campus at 2600 North Military Trail in West Palm Beach, extends Kaiser University's educational offerings to over 100 degrees in the heart of South Florida. Kaiser University also has an athletic program with 20 national championships, including the 2024 Women's Swimming and Diving Championship and 2023 football, lacrosse, and men's swimming and diving titles. Visit KUSeahawks.com for the latest.
Hey, it's your boy JC. The Buffalo Bills caught lying about Josh Allen's concussion. We have the evidence. Today's brand new Questionable Call with Josh Cohen, exclusively on YouTube. Subscribe now on YouTube. Questionable Call with Josh Cohen. Brand new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Welcome to Homestead Miami, your home for the racing high life. A track as vibrant and colorful as South Florida. An Xfinity and Craftsman Truck Series playoffs doubleheader on Saturday. A Cup Series playoffs showdown on Sunday. And it's all caliente.
Side by side for the race lead.
NASCAR playoffs weekend at Homestead Miami Speedway. October 26th and 27th. Get your tickets now at homesteadmiamispeedway.com.
Hell of a job, guys.
The quality of our choices affects the quality of our lives. So, when it comes to how you move, do you choose to see a doctor or go to the #1 orthopedic specialist in the world, backed by a team who custom tailor your treatment? Do you choose to live with limitations or live life to the fullest by going to the place that's #1 at getting people back to what they love? Choose better, move better. Locations in West Palm Beach and Wellington. Learn more at hss.edu/Florida.
On ESPN 106.3, you heard? The Boston Celtics win the Larry O'Brien Trophy.
It's an 18th title for the Celtics, the 2024 NBA champions.
This is ESPN 106.3, where champions are crowned.
Theo here. EDS is yes. You've heard me say that over and over. So I need you to keep this website in mind too. EDSIsYes.com. For the most trusted AC specialist here in Palm Beach County, EDSIsYes.com. For 24/7 support, EDS is a trained comfort specialist. It's hard to stop a train. There are so many reasons why EDS is yes. When it comes to your air conditioning and plumbing, EDSIsYes.com. That's EDSIsYes.com.
Any business that wants to get to the top and stay there requires a dedicated team to implement a winning game plan. Eisner Amper's seasoned professionals provide business advisory and consulting services, such as audit, accounting, tax, HR, outsourcing, and more. Eisner Amper Business Advisors help clients transform their companies, build capital, innovate processes, and mitigate risk. For industry-specific strategies that meet your needs in South Florida, make Eisner Amper part of your solution. Visit EisnerAmper.com/solution.
Anajar and Levine.
Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
ESPN 1063.
WUUB Jupiter, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
Wendy's breakfast burrito has an entire breakfast in every bite. Fresh cracked eggs, seasoned potatoes, American cheese, cheese sauce, and sausage or bacon. So the first bite is like fresh cracked American cheese, bacon. And the second bite is like fresh cracked American cheese, bacon. And the third bite, you get the idea. The boss of breakfast burritos, gotta be Wendy's.
At participating U.S. Wendy's during breakfast hours.
ESPN 1063 is presented by Rubenstein Law. 1-800-FL-LEGAL. Car accident, truck accident, Uber or Lyft accident, or a slip and fall. Call Rubenstein Law. Call 1-800-FL-LEGAL and visit one of our offices throughout Florida.
Time now for a PNC pause. PNC Bank is committed to helping the customers and the communities they serve move forward financially. See how they can make a difference for you at PNC.com.
Meet Cheryl. Hey. She's on vacation and lost in the moment. Unfortunately, so is her Chase debit card.
It's gotta be somewhere.
Maybe she lost it at salsa night.
These skirts should have pockets.
Or maybe she lost it at Pilates.
3 and 2 and...
But she's not worried. With the Chase mobile app, she can lock her card till it turns up. Tools that help protect. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Hey, it's Josh Cohen. When you need auto repair, honesty and reliability are everything. Trust the home for honest, reliable service since 1970. St. Lucie Battery and Tire. St. Lucie Battery and Tire has all the tire and battery brands in stock for cars, trucks, RVs, marine, power sports, golf carts, everything. Major and minor service repairs, free tire pressure, battery checks. St. Lucie Battery and Tire, over 50 years in our community. And now with 18 full-service locations, West Palm to the Treasure Coast. Go to slbt.com. That's slbt.com.
Now, it's time for a little R&R.
Ball into the bucket, lays it up and in.
Ball game, Rizzo! Live in the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, this is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 1063.
This team is going to be tough when they finally get it together.
Sit back and relax. Let Russo and Rizzo take you home.
Oh, mercy! Light him up, Colin!
Packed slate of sports the last couple days, and in the days coming towards us, it's Russo and Rizzo live here, ESPN 1063. Divisional series in the MLB off and running right now with the Tigers and the Guardians. No score right now. Man on third for Detroit. 2 outs entering the 8-man in the lineup. But packed day of football yesterday. A lot of big good teams lost. The Niners dropped one. The Rams couldn't figure it out towards the end of the game. The Cowboys won the last second. Jaguars get their first win of the year. The Denver Broncos moved to 3-2. And, of course, Alabama losing to Vanderbilt. Tennessee losing to Arkansas. Miami escaping by the skin of their teeth against Cal Berkeley. Whole lot happened over the weekend. We got you covered on that front. Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo, Christian Cat, of course, behind the glass. Christian Cat is going to help us out. Let's get to some 5 and 5.
Number 1.
Thank you, Colin. It is time for 5 at 5, brought to you by Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. If you're experiencing foot or ankle pain and need to see an expert in the field, Baptist Health Orthopedic Care has a team of foot and ankle orthopedic surgeons and specialists who are regarded as leaders in their specialty. Visit baptisthealth.net/ortho for more info today. Baptist Health Orthopedic Care combines its resources of experienced physicians, leading-edge treatments, and technology to provide advanced orthopedic, foot and ankle, joint replacement, spine, and sports medicine care. Visit baptisthealth.net/ortho for more information today. Baptist Health Orthopedic Care has offices conveniently located in Palm Beach County throughout the Florida Keys. Learn more by visiting baptisthealth.net/ortho.
Number 1.
The Brownies got embarrassed by the Commanders yesterday, 34-13. Deshaun Watson was 15 for 28, only 125 passing yards. He was sacked 7 times. But despite the awful start, Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski said they will not make a change at quarterback. My question for you fellas is, will Watson finish the season as Browns QB?
Who's even their backup?
Jameis Winston.
It's a good backup, comparatively. I don't know why they wouldn't go there.
I'll tell you why they won't go there, because the owner brought this quarterback in. And this is, like, I don't know this for certain. So this isn't me going, oh, yeah, Jimmy has him. Everyone thinks, and Andrew Berry is the one that takes the heat for the Watson deal. He's the GM. He's the one who ultimately, quote-unquote, made the move. I don't care what anybody says. The owner brought this guy in. And the reason he's still starting is because he's making generational wealth. Jimmy Haslam has been a disgrace of an owner since this deal, okay? I'm not mincing words here. This is a nightmare. This is a nightmare. And for Kevin Stefanski to have to sit up there and answer these questions, I quite frankly feel bad for him. Now, the offense is pitiful. I understand that. But Watson isn't a Kevin Stefanski kind of quarterback. Look what Stefanski was able to do with a healthy Baker Mayfield before Mayfield played through the shoulder injury, and that season was a nightmare. Look what Stefanski was able to do with Joe Flacco last year. I personally think Deshaun Watson just can't play anymore, and now the whole country could see how bad of a contract that was. As long as Watson is healthy, he's going to start. But Colin, I think somewhere along the year, he's going to pick up a knock. I mean, when you get sacked 7 times in one game, you're not going to stay healthy. If this continues to be a theme, you're not going to stay healthy. I don't think Watson is going to start every single game because I think at some point, sadly, he will get hurt.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
But I think that Winston, if it wasn't for the contract and the owner, Winston would be starting. And don't think that the Browns defense is, not getting any criticism either. The offense was abysmal. You barely had any first downs in the game, but the defense, quite frankly, I think quit. And we can put that on the head coach that some of the team quit. But that's my 2 cents on that. The owner ought to be ashamed of themselves. I feel bad for Kevin Stefanski, even though he didn't have the guys ready to go, because this isn't the guy he wanted at quarterback.
I'd agree with that. Yeah. That was a terrible bet on your part on that punchline picks. The Browns.
Hey, the Commanders felt too easy. That felt like bait.
I was a little shocked you guys took that. Did we win those picks? We lost one game over the weekend.
They have their lock tonight, which will determine who wins the game.
And you lost your lock.
I know, and I cannot believe that the Dolphins won that game. I texted you yesterday. Colin didn't respond. But
if Saints cover the 5.5, we will win the week and take the lead.
Well, the Patriots had that touchdown that got called back
by the heel.
And yeah, he was out, and even if they did get it, they probably would have went for 2. So that's why I got nervous with that. So there was no guarantee with the -1 that either we would have pushed or whatever.
But we all had good weeks. I mean, even if you guys don't get that tonight, I was shocked that all of our picks went as well as they did, quite frankly.
Yeah, so that game tonight will determine it. Moving on, number 2.
Number 2.
Hurricane Milton is hitting the Gulf Coast of Florida, and the Buccaneers announced Monday that in advance of Hurricane Milton's expected landfall, the club is going to depart Tampa on Tuesday morning, relocating operations to New Orleans for the remainder of the week. I ask you two fellas, how are you preparing for Hurricane numero uno in your life?
Did you go to the grocery store? I hope you did.
No.
You got food?
Yeah, I got food.
Okay, good.
I got food you got to cook.
Okay, good.
That might be problematic. How are you prepared, C-Cat?
By adopting 2 dogs for 3 weeks. That's how I prepared. So if it all goes to hell, I've got a pack of hounds that'll attack anyway.
Are you like a doomsday, like you have cases of water and flashlights and all that nonsense?
No, I'm more so planning my TV viewing schedule. Like, I haven't watched That 70s Show yet, so I might crack that open.
But what happens if we lose power? We don't have Wi-Fi then.
I am bleeped.
Yeah, right.
I might just quickly go on my roof and ask for help from National Guard because my TV's not working.
Yeah, honest to God. Colin, I was lucky enough to have my family here this weekend. Obviously, family again coming in this next weekend, which I don't understand why, because there's a hurricane coming, but that's neither here nor there. We went to the grocery store and loaded up the fridge. The only thing I don't have is battery flashlight. I checked up. Our GM Stephanie Prince was. I thought it was real sweet of her to reach out to us on Sunday, letting us know about hurricane season. The only thing I don't have on the list is a battery.
She sent the list?
Flashlight. Yeah. You didn't see the email?
Oh, I think that only went to certain employees.
No. I think
Colin was on it. Colin was on it.
I just didn't read it.
I believe it was myself and our partnership coordinator Mike Jones and marketing coordinator Lucas. It's our first hurricane season, so I think we were all on it. But I checked everything off. Also, boys, fun fact, just in case I lose power, my Switch is at 100%, and both my DSs, my DS Lite and my 3DS, are at 100%. So I will at least have 10 hours of gameplay that I could play if I do lose power.
And you'll at least have your Cheerios and your bib, and you'll be all ready to go to watch Teen Titans in the morning.
Number 3.
Dude. I'll tell you what, CCAT has had a lot of low blows with me lately. CCAT, what did I do, man? I know I
in a raised chair.
I know I put the company at risk by accidentally clicking on IT phishing emails. Oh my God, man, yeah. And you know what? I have Naruto episodes downloaded on my phone. Damn it, I will be watching cartoons.
You think
What's wrong with that?
You think Stephanie's not happy that I didn't complete that that hurricane email?
No, she just
boss.
She didn't give us homework or anything. She just gave us a couple of suggestions. And I have all of her suggestions outside of the flashlight.
Yeah, I don't have anything in the apartment. I have 3 books. So we're going to see. And I don't want to read 3 books in a row. I don't want to.
Number 3.
Our NFL Week 5 Sunday slate began with the Jets dropping to 2-3 on the season. They lost 23-17 to the still undefeated Vikings. Through 5 weeks, the Jets offense scored 93 points. Through 5 weeks of last year, the historically inept, the historically horrible quarterback play Jets scored 93 points. Rodgers has a low ankle sprain. He's expected to play next Monday. Is Rodgers going to play all 17 games this season?
I mean, I can't hypothesize. He's getting banged up a little bit, but I think there's a whole lot of the offense has no fluidity. They don't flow. And that Minnesota defense is as good as it gets, but the Jets at this point, they have a lot of issues, and it's Rodgers is a little washed. You can see his age, but it's too quick. They don't take many shots downfield. I don't know. I'm down on them, and I need them to turn it around. So I'm a little upset because I thought they'd continue to improve as the season went along. But I can't hypothesize whether Rodgers is going to play 17 games. But to Mike's point, if you get hit a lot, eventually you're going to miss a game or 2.
I think that as long as it's not like season-ending stuff, I think he'll play through it. We've seen in years past Rodgers playing through injuries. The last year he was in Green Bay, he played through a plethora of injuries. Now, I told you guys before the year I didn't think Rodgers was MVP form anymore. I do think he's a serviceable quarterback, but once again, I go back to the Jet fans and you Jet supporters that were telling me, all the Jets need is good quarterback play. I completely disagreed with that. Just because I don't believe in Nathaniel Hackett, and I think there are too many things, outside forces working against the Jets. Colin, I know it sounds like I joke around sometimes with the mojo stuff with Colin, but there is something to that. That team just doesn't seem like to have a theme or mojo. I don't believe in Hackett, and I think Salah is a dead man walking.
Number 4.
The NLDS series are packed with action and hate. Both series are tied at 1 game apiece after the Padres and Phillies took their respective Game 2s yesterday. Which NL divisional series is more intriguing? Phillies-Mets, Dodgers-Padres?
Now, Colin, I know your answer to this, so I'm going to go the others. If the reason I think it's Dodgers and Padres is because I actually think the Dodgers are going to lose. Like, the Dodgers have been the shoe-in, including myself, for a lot of people, to the World Series this year. When I saw them acquire Ohtani, along with Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman, I thought it was all just a formality. But I sometimes forget how crazy the MLB playoffs are. The Padres are a solid team, and they stole one in L.A. Colin,
They're hot.
I think it's the Dodgers and the Padres because I think the Padres are actually going to do it.
Yeah, they're hot. It's obviously the Phillies and Mets. I think there's just a lot of blood brooding there. But now, maybe with the situation yesterday with the Dodger fans, maybe that makes that series a little bit more interesting, a little bit more than surface level. But the Dodger guys, all those players are good guys. So it's not like there's a lot of polarizing personality there. If Freeman, Betts, and Ohtani, the poster boys, are all good guys. The Mets, you got Winker, who's a pain. You got Harper, who's a bit polarizing. Castellanos, not everybody loves. Schwarber, people like. But there's a lot of Nimmo. There's a lot of bad blood there. There's juice. There's mojo. And for that, I think that the Phillies-Mets is an easy one. This has been two very good games so far. Very tight. A little less hitting, but a little bit more strategic. Give me that one. Number 5.
Number 5.
Wrapping it up with college football. Not to be forgotten, in the Pac Sports weekend, Vanderbilt did the unthinkable. They did the impossible. Vandy beat number 1 ranked powerhouse Alabama 40-35. Vanderbilt's dragon-slaying quarterback Diego Pavia was lightened up on a hot mic post-game. Can Alabama still make the college football playoff, even after what could be the most embarrassing SEC loss of the millennium?
I think so. We went through it earlier. They have a rough 4-game stretch of, I believe, Tennessee, LSU, Oklahoma, and another one on the back half that I just am remiss of remembering. I would have liked for Bama to go into those 4 stretch of games undefeated, but as long as they don't lose more than 2, they're in. If they lose 3, I think they're out because I think some other SEC teams are going to have some better records. I think a whole lot of these teams are going to eat each other, but I do think Alabama is still going to make the playoff because I don't see them losing more than 2 games.
Yeah, they can afford that loss. That's the bottom line. Their season's not over. This is not the college football playoff of the past. This time last year, you'd have a conversation about Alabama. But the fact that there's going to be 12 teams that get in, Bama has the most impressive win on any resume of anybody in the country so far. I mean, other than Vanderbilt. But I think that it's simple. Win a couple more of your games, take down Tennessee, and then you'll be completely fine on the rest of the way. That was the 5 at 5. Thank you, CCAP Behind the Glass, for helping us out there. 888-760-3776. That's 888-760-3776 to get into the program. That is the call-in number. We go to Connecticut. Todd in Connecticut joins us now on Russo and Rizzo. Todd, what's on your mind? What's going on?
Hey, Todd from New Canaan. Good to talk to you guys. Hey, boys, congrats on the show. That's really great news. Colin, we're all proud of you here in New Canaan.
Yeah, Todd, I was expecting this call, Todd. I was, eventually.
You knew it was coming, didn't you?
I did. Go right ahead. What's on your mind?
Yeah. So, I don't know what to do. I'm a long-suffering Jets fan, and I just feel like we're lost once again. I thought this was the year. And when Tua goes down, I thought we got an easy pass. We got four easy wins in our division. Maybe we take one from Buffalo. That's 5. We're off to the playoffs. I've already seen enough of Rodgers. He's not a leader. All the off the field stuff drives me nuts. He doesn't, Salah's not strong. The team seems lost, and Rodgers doesn't seem great.
Now, if you guys, Mike here, by the way, if you guys win Monday night, you'll be in the lead in the AFC East. Does that do anything for you, partner?
Well, it does, but I got to tell you something. Ira was on with Chris, and he said it great. He said, yeah, Rodgers is talented, but he's not a leader. And he's not leading this team. I mean, because there's more problems on this team. You're getting paid $40 million. Be a leader.
Yeah.
You want to be moms and be a little divisive. I can live with that. But when you're not producing on the field, shut up, be a leader, and lead this team and hug your coach when he goes to hug you.
Yeah, it's almost like Rodgers just doing his own thing. Todd, last thing here. What's going on in the baseball? What's your read on everything? And go right ahead.
Listen, as far as I'm concerned, I'm playing with house money. I love the team. I love the guys. I love the manager. Tough game the other night, but, Diaz had thrown a lot of pitches in a short period of time, so you got to cut him a break. I would have liked to see McGill not throw a slider. His other stuff looked good, and he had hung a couple of sliders. He got away with one with Harper. But I'm very, very happy with where they are. I'm going to be at the game tomorrow night, so I'm psyched about that.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
So you're going to be at Citi Field, but the Mets are oozing magic. I completely agree. I don't even think yesterday was a bad loss. I mean, yeah, they blew it. But in a lot of ways, that the top 9 heroics, once again, the Mets are they just don't lose. They don't give up. And I think that resilience is going to really propel them here.
Yeah, love the team. Love everything that they're about. I don't think we sign. I don't know what we do with Polar Bear after this season. He was a good player
back.
25 years ago when the home run was important.
Yeah, he's coming back, Todd.
I don't know that he's that.
Yeah, he's coming back. Appreciate it, Todd. Good call as always. Good chatting. I know it was a little cut off there, but what are you going to do? Todd, a big Met fan, of course. He's a big Jet fan.
I love the accent.
So he's a big Met fan. We're going to talk to Jonathan Zaslow of the Zaslow Show 2.0 of ESPN Radio and the College Football Tour. Next, it's Russo Rizzo live here at ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Want to accelerate your career as a manager or executive in the exciting industry of sports? Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program is ranked #1 in Florida and 10th in the world. Students learn practical and applied skills from top faculty and experts who work in the industry. With a 94% placement rate for all grads, the full-time MBA program sets students up for success in the world of sports. Check out Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program today by going to business.fau.edu.
Hey, it's your boy JC. The Buffalo Bills caught lying about Josh Allen's concussion. We have the evidence. Today's brand new Questionable Call with Josh Cohen, exclusively on YouTube. Subscribe now on YouTube. Questionable Call with Josh Cohen. Brand new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
I'm Nicole Rubenstein Armstrong, CEO at Rubenstein Law. In 1988, my father started the firm with just a handful of files and a dream. When I joined him 20 years later, Robert Rubenstein was already a household name. Since then, the firm has grown to 20 offices across 4 states. We've brought justice to hundreds of thousands of injured clients. No matter how many people we help, we value each and every client as if it's still just one lawyer and a dream. If you've been injured, call us.
Rubenstein Law, 1-800-FL-LEGAL. Office in West Palm Beach.
It's football season, and Vivid Seats is your ultimate destination for all the action on the gridiron. With a game-changing rewards program, plus an amazing selection of tickets, Vivid Seats ensures that every fan can catch their favorite teams and players in action. Vivid Seats has you covered with deals that cater to every football enthusiast. And all tickets come back by a 100% buyer guarantee, giving you peace of mind with every purchase. Just visit vividseats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
This season, get premium tech that inspires joy from Dell Technologies. Bring projects to life with the XPS 16. It delivers supercharged processing for enhanced productivity and freedom to express yourself. Performance-class Dell PCs with Intel Core Ultra processors deliver a dedicated engine to help accelerate AI. Enjoy free shipping, Dell rewards, and expert support. When you get a Dell PC with AI, it gives back. Shop now at Dell.com/deals.
Get ready to rev your engines because NASCAR is coming to Homestead Miami Speedway with the Craftsman Truck Series playoffs and NASCAR Xfinity Series playoffs doubleheader. Want tickets? We got them. Listen to ESPN 106.3. You may play our NASCAR or the movie Cars trivia game. Call in to Theoretically Speaking or Russo and Rizzo when we tell you to. Follow ESPN West Palm on all platforms and be on the lookout for contest details. To purchase tickets, visit HomesteadMiamiSpeedway.com.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Rolling on here after a Week 5 NFL Sunday and a Week 6 college football, which included a whole lot of upsets. A guy who knows college football just as much as anybody, who you can hear him on the College Football Tour on ESPN Radio weekly. They travel around the country to the biggest games on their schedule. You can hear him on the Zaslow Show 2.0. And I'd now like to welcome in Jonathan Zaslow of ESPN Radio. What's going on, Zaz? How you doing?
How you doing, guys? I'm trying to recover from that Hurricanes game going into the middle of the night. I mean, how could an in-conference
Atlantic Coast Conference game go until 3 in the morning. So I'm very tired. I'm trying to make up for it at my age.
Well, let's start there. As bad of a what was your take on this targeting call that gave Miami the ball back late in the game? I thought it was an egregious miss. That's just my opinion. But now Miami has escaped by the skin of their teeth 2 straight weeks. What's your read on that?
So I'm watching it, and I'm stunned that they didn't call targeting at the time. And then they go to the review, which you knew they were going to, and I would have bet anything in the world that they're coming back and they're calling targeting. To me, it's almost as if you were going to show a video to incoming players what is targeting. You could have shown that video. And I thought it was an especially selfish play from the Hurricane player because in that moment right there, you could say, oh, he didn't do it on purpose. He's not trying to injure. Say whatever you want. But when a player or defender sees the quarterback out in the open like that, it's going through his mind, wow, I get a chance to hit the quarterback really hard and violent here. Let me do it. And that's all he was thinking about there, in my opinion. I thought it was an incredibly selfish play, and he got so lucky that he did not cost his team the game. Hurricane fans aren't going to like me saying it. I thought it was 1,000% a targeting call.
Zaz, how worried are you about this team moving forward? The Florida game was fun, and you thought, all right, this could be the Canes here. They're still undefeated, but is there a belief in you as a Canes fan that this is a team that could compete for a national title after close calls against Virginia Tech and Cal?
Well, luckily, I think if you make the playoffs, you're competing for a national title. And in the Hurricanes case, if they win the ACC championship, you're going to have a bye, and then you're automatically in the quarterfinals. So I think that qualifies for competing for a national championship. So they're going to compete for a national championship. And you look at the remaining schedule here. I mean, look, there aren't any exactly, daunting opponents left here. They have the bye. And then they're at Louisville, who just got crushed by SMU.
Right.
And then you got the worst team in college football, which we all know is FSU. All right. And then you're talking about teams like Duke, at Georgia Tech, Wake Forest, and at Syracuse to finish it. I think no matter how good you are, and we saw it happen with Tennessee, we saw it happen with Alabama, these teams can get tripped up. I think no matter how good you are, you got to avoid getting tripped up. And it's going to happen against teams that are much lesser than you. And what happened with the Canes the last couple weeks is they avoided getting tripped up. Hey, even the greatest college football team in the history of the world, the 2001 Miami Hurricanes, they almost got tripped up on the road at a Boston College team that had no business being on the field with them. You get an interception on the last play of the game on the goal line. Ed Reed takes it to the house. Canes survive. They win the national championship. So every team winds up having to get past these situations where they don't play their best. I think the bye comes at a great time for the Hurricanes because they obviously have to fix up what's going on in the secondary.
I understand the point. Every team trips up. We saw it this weekend with a lot of SEC teams, the 0-1 Hurricanes comparison. I mean, we could maybe take a step back on that regard, but I understand the point about the Miami Hurricanes and how every team is due for a little bit of a slip-up. Let's talk about some of these slip-ups. Alabama, of course, losing. Tennessee, of course, losing. Alabama in a hangover game format, and Tennessee, maybe they're looking ahead to that Alabama game. And even Missouri as well, getting absolutely killed at Kyle Field. Which one of those losses do you think is quite concerning for the team that lost that? Are you concerned about Bama? Are you concerned about Tennessee? Is Missouri a problem? What's your takeaway?
Well, I'll tell you, I don't know that Missouri's any good. I feel like going into the game, that was our question. Not really sure. Don't know how good Missouri is. We're about to find out here. And obviously they got crushed in the only two-team top 25 matchup of the weekend. So let's throw Missouri out the window. I don't think they're any good. Of the teams that we talked about so far, I'm concerned about Miami. I mean, like Alabama, it's weird that Miami is now ranked ahead of Alabama because I understand the Canes have 0 losses and the Alabama's 1. We all know Alabama's a lot better than the Miami Hurricanes, all right? Alabama, look, if they were due to have a letdown game after all the emotion the week before, it is what it is. I could easily see Alabama going up to the SEC championship without a loss up to that point. I think Alabama still gets in. I think the SEC is going to have 4, probably 5 teams in the college football playoff. The thing is with Miami, the reason it was so important that they came from behind and won that game Saturday, if they would have lost that game, they're done. Because now you're in a dogfight to even appear in the ACC championship game if you have one loss. You're not making the playoffs if you're not in the ACC championship game. And matter of fact, I think the only way you make the playoffs if you lose the ACC championship game, if it's Miami, undefeated Miami, and Clemson in the national championship game. And if Clemson wins the ACC, automatically gets in, and they give Miami their first and only loss of the season, in that case, I think the ACC would get two teams in. I think it's the only way.
Now, Zaz, we talked about some SEC teams. Is there a SEC team that stands out to you more than the other? I know Georgia just lost to Alabama, but with Alabama going down to Vanderbilt, I'm interested to hear who your leader in the clubhouse in the Southeastern Conference is right now.
Yeah, I think it's easy to look at it and say, all right, Georgia, Alabama, they're neck and neck. Georgia lost at Alabama. Alabama lost at Vanderbilt. So forgetting about transitive theory, Georgia lost to the much better team. They're the better team of the two. I think they're neck and neck, the two of them. You know, that Georgia-Alabama a couple weekends ago, Georgia simultaneously, or at least within the 60 minutes of the game, played their worst game of the year, and they also played their best game of the year. Georgia is never going to look as bad as down 30-7 at Alabama from that first half, and Georgia's never going to look as good than that huge comeback and putting it on Alabama in the second half and having a chance to win there. I think Georgia and Alabama are still neck and neck, although this weekend I'm at Texas State Fair, Red River Rivalry, #1 Texas, Oklahoma this weekend. I mean, Oklahoma, let's not forget, now it's a big SEC matchup, the Red River Rivalry. So it remains to be seen what Texas looks like after the week off this past week. But I think it's Georgia. Even though Texas has won, I think it's Georgia and Alabama are the best teams in the SEC.
Jonathan Zaslow of ESPN Radio, the College Football Tour, and the Zaslow 2.0 show joining us now on Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3. You're right. It's probably Texas #1, but they got a tough two-game stretch here, a rivalry game, then turning around and playing Georgia back-to-back like that is not going to be easy. But let's shift over to what we saw yesterday on Sunday. One game that I thought was pretty glaring was how the Niners handled that second half, blowing that game against the Arizona Cardinals. We talked about it a little earlier in the show. This has been a unfortunate type of theme with Kyle Shanahan as head coach. Blew a 10-point lead against the Rams. He blew a 10-point lead against the Rams in the conference title game a couple of years ago. He blew the Super Bowl where they were ahead on the Chiefs. He blew the Falcons Super Bowl, most notably. Now he blew this one. It seems like he can't close a game. That's his legacy at the moment. What's your reaction to what happened with the Niners yesterday and Kyle Shanahan?
I mean, guys, this second half was a disaster. You look at the second half that San Francisco had, all right? They're up 23-10 at halftime at home against Kyler Murray, who I think we all know is not very good. And San Francisco's second half drives, this is all of them. It's not hard to figure out if it was a problem. Here is San Francisco's drives in the second half. Interception, downs, fumble, interception. That was their entire second half. I mean, come on. Like, you're giving the game away in that spot to Arizona. Like, I understand you got injuries here, but you got a big lead at halftime, and they accomplished nothing in the second half. That's probably the biggest shock of the day, I think, Arizona and San Francisco. Arizona's not any good.
Every team's been blowing that defense open, too.
Zaz, yep. the London game, Rodgers 54 passing attempts. He was 23 to 17 to the Vikings. I mean, believe it or not, Zaz, before you go in too hard on the Jets, if they do beat the struggling at the moment Buffalo Bills on Monday Night Football, they will be in the lead in that division. But your quick thoughts on Rodgers showing 54 times and losing in London?
I mean, guys, the Dolphins and the Jets are tied for second place in the AFC East.
Yep.
I mean, Aaron Rodgers. Now, let's take back for a second. Who would have thought that a 40-year-old quarterback who did not play last year, who was coming off a major injury, who decided to hang out in the darkness and then decided he wanted to play for, of all teams, the New York Jets, and who has not been an above-average quarterback for 3 seasons now, is going to wind up struggling for the New York Jets? Who would have possibly guessed that was going to be the scenario? And by the way, we're in the early part of the season here. He's not going to get any fresher. He's only going to get more and more wear and tear. He looked horrible on Sunday morning. I think he's in big trouble. I saw it the whole way. There's no reason to believe that you just throw Aaron Rodgers on this team having not played football in 2 seasons, and that was going to cure all of what ails them. And if you're thinking about Davante Adams, I mean, you guys, do you think just adding a Davante Adams cures what's going on with that Jets offense? I don't.
I would agree with that. Rodgers, you're seeing his age, and you didn't 2 years ago, but that was also 2 years ago. To the NFC side of things, the NFC North, the Minnesota, of course, won that game in London. They got 4 teams now with 3 or more wins. The Vikings, of course, sitting atop at 5-0. The Bears starting to put together a couple weeks here where they're playing pretty well. That NFC North is going to be as big of a dogfight as I think you could find in the NFL. Who's that odd man out there?
I think Darnold's performance, too, in London, and I'm happy for him. It's a really great story, Darnold and the Vikings. But I think Darnold's performance in that game as well shows you, A, the Vikings are really good because he was not good, Darnold,
right.
And B, the Jets are really bad. It's a little bit of both in that game. But I look at that NFC North, it might be the best division in football. Every team's above 500. Minnesota is obviously the surprise there because I felt Chicago was a playoff team anyway coming into this season. I thought that Caleb Williams was going to be great from day number 1. I have to admit, I was wrong. He's great now, day number 5. All right, it took a few days for him to get there. I understand it was against Carolina, but 2 of his last 3 games now, Caleb Williams, over 300 yards, multiple touchdowns passing. He's got a rapport now going with DJ Moore, 2 touchdowns yesterday. I think Chicago's the real deal. I think Caleb Williams is the real deal. That's a division where you're probably going to get 3 playoff teams in the NFC North.
Probably.
Zaz, staying in with the NFC. Jane Daniels and the Commanders doing whatever they wanted against my Brownies on Sunday. Are you taking them seriously in that NFC East, or do you buy in the rebound Dallas had in Pittsburgh last night on Sunday Night Football? Late Sunday Night Football game, by the way.
Well, oh my God, so late. Look, I'm in on Dallas. I've been in on Dallas since the start of the season. I'm probably on an island with very few people who are still in on Dallas. But Washington is clearly a contender for the NFC East right now. And I'll tell you, based on the way the NFL, the salary cap works, if you want to talk about Davante Adams, that's the team that should be making the phone call. That's the team that should be going after him is Washington. Washington should try and acquire Davante Adams because there's clearly not just a window for the NFC East this year, but Jaden Daniels looks like a star. And if that's the case and you have him on the rookie value, if you have him on that contract for the next 4 years, you need to take advantage of it. Spend money elsewhere, put as much talent around him as possible, because if he's a star in his rookie contract, the window to win a Super Bowl is right now. I'm not saying that's really this season. Clearly the NFC East is up for grabs right now. But if I'm the Commanders, I'm acquiring Davante Adams this week.
That's an interesting point. I don't disagree that, in terms of a franchise turnaround, it's all of a sudden your record's that great. Got to make a move. Zaz, you're a Florida guy yourself. Hurricane Milton's coming into town here in a few short days. Mike and I are not as hurricane prepped in terms of our experiences with it. What's your takeaway on how we should handle this? Are you worried about this in the South Florida area? What's going to go happen with Hurricane Milton?
Okay, normally I don't get very serious about it, but I'm certainly going to take a serious tact with you guys because we have people listening and it's very serious business. So in all seriousness, guys, you gotta keep track of it. Make sure you're checking the news, you're watching all that stuff, you're following on social media. If you're not someone who's accustomed to it like yourself, you have to take it serious. Now, unfortunately for the people on the West Coast, who I feel terrible for, they're going to get slammed again. Just 2 weeks after this Hurricane Helene, they're going to get slammed again. They have to evacuate. It's a disaster, all right? For us, it looks like we're going to be okay. We're definitely going to get terrible weather Tuesday and then into Wednesday. It's going to be really bad weather, probably flooding and all of that stuff. Pray to God that it doesn't hurt the West Coast too much. Pray to God that it doesn't hurt us too much. Like I said, I don't normally get crazy with the hurricanes. I've been here my whole life. I remember Hurricane Andrew. But you guys, you're new. You got to take it serious.
Zaz, final thing I wanted to touch with you. I want to go back to college really, really quick. The Buckeyes in Oregon. You know, I'm a big Buckeye supporter. You got a sense of what's going to happen in this game, partner? I don't think either team has really been battle-tested.
I'm sure you're going to that game too, right, Zaz?
No, that's this weekend, right?
Yes.
That is.
No, we're at Texas River Rivalry for Texas, Oklahoma. We're at State Fair.
But any sense that's probably one of the bigger games this weekend? Any sense of what's going to happen there? And it seems like the first Big Ten clash we've really had all year.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, the team, right now, one of them is 3, one of them is 6. Whichever team wins there is probably going to win the Big Ten. And while I think you're going to have 4 teams probably get in from the Big Ten for the playoffs, so it's not like a death knell for the team that loses that game, but getting that bye and potentially the 2nd seed or the 3rd seed, because the 4th seed is going to be Big 12 champion, that's an enormous advantage, not having to play that extra playoff game. So it's a monster game. Both teams are going to make the playoffs, I would assume, but this could be for who's going to get the bye,
right.
Because they're going to have a chance to get to the conference championship game.
You mentioned on the college football tour, you guys are going to be at the Texas River
Red River Rivalry.
Red River Rivalry.
And where can their fans listen to you when they want to get a sense of that in you?
10 a.m. Eastern Time, ESPN Radio, of course, also on FM 106.3 West Palm, Sirius XM Channel 80, the ESPN app, the whole deal. 10 a.m. Eastern Time, Saturday morning. I'm live in the Airstream studio. We're going to be at Texas State Fair. It's the Red River Rivalry, Texas, Oklahoma, which, believe it or not, is now an SEC showdown, all right, strangely enough. So that's a huge game. I'm very excited about that. I've never been to the Texas State Fair, so I'm into it.
And Zaslow, where can they catch you on your show?
Yeah, thanks, guys. Zaslow Show 2.0, wherever you get your podcasts. I can name all the places, but then I'll be taking up your entire show. So wherever you listen to podcasts, Zaslow Show 2.0, Monday through Friday, we're Miami-based podcasts, and Zaslow Show 2.0 is brought to us by Anajar and Levine, accident attorneys. They're the title sponsor of everything, Zaslow Show 2.0. If you're dealing with a personal injury, you got to get someone who's going to help you, who's going to treat you like family and fight for you. That's Anajar and Levine. Whatever injury you're dealing with, it could be a hit and run, motorcycle, boating accident, slip and fall. You worry about your health, you call 911. Then you call Anajar and Levine, accident attorneys. They will get you the compensation you deserve. 800-747-FREE, 800-747-3733, guys.
Zaslow, great job as always. Appreciate the insight. We'll talk next week.
Thanks, Zaz.
Thank you, pal. See ya.
That was Jonathan Zaslow of the Zaslow Show 2.0, college football tour, and on ESPN Radio all the time. Does a great job as always. Knows college football front and back. Catch him every Monday live here on Russo and Rizzo. Mike's got a big weekend ahead because we mentioned some college football. We mentioned some collegiate athletics. Kaiser University's playing this weekend. Isn't that right, Mike?
Yes, folks, and they are champions. Champions, they are all over the flagship campus of Kaiser University in West Palm Beach. The Kaiser Seahawks have now won 22 national championships, including back-to-back national championships in men's lacrosse, 3 straight NAIA women's swimming and diving titles, and, of course, their first national championship in football this past season. You can hear myself and Cyrus Wittig on the call for all of their home football games. KU has also captured 61 regular season and 63 conference tournament titles, plus a Learfield Cup trophy. Get the latest on Kaiser Seahawks Athletics at KU.com. Once again, folks, get the latest on Kaiser Seahawks Athletics, KUSeahawks.com, and be on the lookout for their home football game coming up this Saturday. I will not be on the call for this one. I got some other obligations coming up on Saturday. I apologize, but my good buddy Cyrus Wittig will have the call for you guys coming up on Saturday. Once again, folks, champions they are all over the flagship campus of Kaiser.
We give our Monday Night Football picks presented by Hard Rock Bet. Close out the program next. Stick around. It's Russo and Rizzo live here, ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
PNC Bank is committed to making a difference in the South Florida community. That's why they offer military banking products, champion veteran-owned businesses, and provide support to local organizations that empower veterans and their families with the resources they need to succeed. PNC Bank. See how they can help you at pnc.com/military. The PNC Financial Services Group, Incorporated, all rights reserved. PNC Bank, National Association, member FDIC.
Calling all sports fans, grab your MVP card and head to Duffy's where you can catch all of the action. Not an MVP? Sign up for free and start earning rewards today. Duffy's is voted the best sports grill year after year with their award-winning burgers and wings. Don't forget about Duffy's famous 2-for-1 drinks all day, every day. And with over 80 TVs in every location, you'll never miss a minute of the game. Visit Duffy'sMVP.com to learn more. Duffy's, our game is always on.
What's the Anajar Levine difference? When you're injured in a car crash, we focus on your case so you can focus on the one thing that matters most, getting better. I'm Glenn Levine with Anajar Levine. We'll fight to get you the maximum compensation you deserve. Call our legal team right now for a free consultation, 1-800-747-FREE. We'll help you take back control of your life. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
In office, West Palm Beach.
Is racking up tens of thousands of dollars in student loan debt really worth the 4-year degree? Not a lot of people think so anymore. A recent Wall Street Journal poll found that 56% of us believe that a skills-based education, that's a smarter investment than a 4-year degree. So why waste that time and money when there's an alternative right here in North Palm Beach that teaches the skills that people can actually use in today's world, and you can get those skills in just months, not years. I'm talking about CSB Media Arts Center, the home of Connecticut School of Broadcasting, which provides hands-on training in audio and video production, podcasting, sports broadcasting, social media marketing, filmmaking, coding, and so much more. For over 60 years, CSB has placed thousands of graduates in careers. Take a moment and visit gocsb.com to schedule a tour. That's gocsb.com.
I'm Wendy Sartori-Link, your Palm Beach County Supervisor of Elections. Election Day is November 5th. Voting by mail is easy and secure. Request online at votepalmbeach.gov or call us at 561-656-6208. Return your ballot with prepaid postage or drop it off at one of our secure locations during designated hours. Our online ballot tracker allows you to get live updates on the status of your ballot, and the deadline to request is Thursday, October 24th. No matter how you vote this November, we're here to make it count. Sponsored by the Palm Beach County Supervisor of Elections Office.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Chiefs hosting tonight Monday Night Football on ESPN. Joe Buck and Troy Aikman will be on the call. The Saints coming into town, sitting at 2-2. The Chiefs, of course, what's new? 4-0. Packed one on Monday Night Football. You can catch that right here on ESPN 106.3. We got the play-by-play for that. Seacat, say yes for me.
EDS is yes, because there's a lot of unknowns in this world. We don't know how bad this hurricane's going to be. What we do know is that you cannot afford your AC to go out. It simply is a non-compromisable necessity in the great state of Florida. That's why you need to go to the website, edsisyes.com. edsisyes.com, because they are our trusted AC experts in Palm Beach County. You know they're good when not 500, not 600, over 760 people have agreed that they're awesome. That's a 4.8-star Google rating because EDS is yes. They've been keeping you cool since 2006. They provide 24/7 support, timely service, and you can even book online at edsisyes.com. Consider using any of their service-first maintenance plans because rather than wait for disaster to hit, prevent it with EDS. They're for all of your AC and plumbing needs, edsisyes.com.
EDS is yes. What is EDS? Yes. EDS is yes. I love EDS. It's yes.
Staying cool, man.
Colin, I want to thank you. Can I thank you for something?
What's that?
For dealing with me in studio, for my fist bumps, my waves of disapproval. And if you guys are watching on the YouTube stream, I've been all over the place today. The guards, Colin, are killing me right now. We've had two runners in scoring positions the last 2 innings on Scooble, but 2 inning-ending double plays. If I'm vote at this point, I'm sending. Whoever's on first, I'm pinch running and I'm sending them because you got to get someone across the board against Scooble. I think this is a must-win, Colin. I think this is a must-win for the Guardians because Detroit has been waiting for a playoff series. Kyle, you're going to have to correct me if I'm wrong. I think since maybe 2009.
I don't have the number in my head.
But it's been a very long time.
They're already up 1-0. You just don't want them to drop a game at home?
Yeah, I don't want them to. I want them to. I think it's important you go into that series in Detroit up 2-0. And to not take advantage of Scooble is crazy. Now, the good news is Cade Smith is unbelievable, one of the best bullpen arms in the game right now, and he's on his third inning of duty here. But, Kyle, I just appreciate you bearing with me. I hate when one of my teams is playing when I'm working.
Tigers in the World Series 2012. That was the last time.
Thank you. Not 09.
With
I apologize.
With the great bull.
Guys, but it's been 12 years since a home crowd has seen a playoff team. I mean, I'm assuming they're going to have mojo. I'm assuming they're going to have some things going on there in Motown. So I think it's very important the Guards win today.
No score, top 7. Scooble's at 83 pitches through 6. I wonder if they'll give him that 7th. My guess is yes, but I could be wrong. Hitting around a little bit. It's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3. Let's get into our Monday Night Football picks presented by Hard Rock Bet. That fires me up. Yeah. That is a theme right there. I'll tell you that. Saints, Chiefs tonight. We'll do all three of us giving our pick. Who's our player of the game as well. 2-2 Saints visiting the Kansas City Chiefs in Arrowhead. Monday Night Football, 8:15. Mike Rizzo, what say you?
I'm going to go with the Chiefs, 21-14. I think the player of the game is going to be Xavier Worthy. I think with Rashee Rice out, I think he's going to be the favorite target for Mahomes. You know, I love Travis Kelce being a Cleveland kid, but for some reason, he really hasn't been able to kick it on here in the beginning of the year. No touchdowns for Travis Kelce entering in Week 5. So I'm going to go with the Chiefs, 21-14. Give me Xavier Worthy for my MVP with a pair of touchdowns.
Looking at Hard Rock Bet, that line of 5.5 has been all week.
You like that?
Do.
Oh, it moved.
Oh yeah, I
moved
forgot. I totally forgot that's your lock of the week was Saints 5.5.
This is the scheduled, oh my God, I think the Chiefs are broken game. Rashee Rice hurt. Xavier Worthy, the number one option. He's a rookie. I'm not sure he's ready to be that number one option because Travis Kelce looks like he is about 84 years old on the football field right now. Give me the Saints to not only cover the 5.5 or the 5, whatever number you get. The Saints are going to win this game outright. Wow. You can put it on the board. MVP, Alvin Kamara. He'll find the end zone a couple times.
They win easy?
They win.
It's in Arrowhead, Seacats. Tough place to play, brother.
They win this game by 9 points. No little, no more.
I do think you're going to see some points tonight. I do. I think that Kubiak offense will see another vamp of life, and I think that offenses have started to figure it out 4 weeks into the year. You saw it yesterday with some more scoring than you usually do. And a couple 300-yard games, which we never see from quarterbacks nowadays, even from Jacksonville Jaguars of all teams. I think this is going to be in the scoring realm. I think that we're going to see a 34-31 final. And I'm going to go with the Chiefs here. I don't like choosing the Saints to cover, but I think it'll be a close game. If the Chiefs win big, I'm more than happy with that with your punchline picks and you guys falling beneath us in the rankings there. The punchline picks, of course, 6 picks. Losers have to give stand-up comedy routine at the end of the year. It's tied. We're both, I think, 12 and 16, but you guys are relying on this one, huh?
So if I gave you $110 and you did bet one of 4 things, Saints plus the 5.5, Chiefs minus the 5.5, over 43 or under 43, what are you taking that $110 and doing?
Well, based on what I just told you, I would take the over on the points, and then I would take the Saints plus 5.5.
So
parlay them? That's what you're saying?
Count your wins.
If I'm logging on to the fantastic Hard Rock app,
Hard Rock Bet app, yes.
I am putting all my money on the Chiefs 5.5. They don't lose at home. They Taylor Swift's probably going to be in the house. 5.5 Chiefs, easy money. Hard Rock Bet app, baby. 5.5 for the Chiefs. Book it.
Monday Night Football picks presented by Hard Rock Bet. Go check out some of the bets they got, some of the trendy picks they have in the Discover page. You can go check out the lines. They're always changing. Bet live. Bet the touchdown scores first, last, anytime. Go check it out. Hard Rock Bet's got it all covered. But it's Hard Rock Bet. We are no handicappers, too, so any of our picks, let's keep it one thing in mind. We are no professionals, so do not take what we are taking. But it's Hard Rock Bet offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling, call 1-888-ADMIT-IT. Well, you got the Tigers and the Guardians going down to the wire here. Top 7. You got the Yankees and the Royals going on tonight. I think the Tigers are going to head just one out. I really do. And I think the Yankees are going to go back to Kansas City up 2-0. What are your picks on this?
Yeah, you know, I'm a Yankees fan, so you really take this with a grain of salt. But the Yankees, it's easy tonight. It's going to be an easy, 6-0 win. Judge will go yard in the first, 2-run home run. There'll be an error at first base by John Birdie. First time he's ever played first base, not only in Major League Baseball, but in the minors, in fall ball, winter ball. He's never played first base, but the Yankees are going to throw him out there.
I think I'm going to buy into Seacat's Judge explosion tonight, too, so I will go with the Yankees. I do disagree with you, though. The Guardians, we got magic at home. We'll win in the night.
That's been the Monday edition of Russo and Rizzo. Everybody stay safe. Get prepared for Hurricane Milton coming up later this week. Prepare the windows, get some water, get some non-perishable foods, get some flashlights, batteries, whatever you got to do to make sure you and yours are safe and happy and healthy. But we send you off into Tuesday. We'll be back at it on Russo and Rizzo live here on ESPN 106.3.
Hi, it's Evan Cohen from Unsportsmanlike, and if you're starving for football, ESPN 106.3 is an all-you-can-eat buffet. NFL Week 5 wraps up with Monday Night Football. The Saints and Chiefs are under the lights in Arrowhead. Pre-game begins at 7:30. So tune in and bask in the glory of football on ESPN 106.3.
Halloween fun is brewing at the Gardens Mall. Starting Saturday, October 12th, get into the Halloween spirit when Batty Manor opens in the Grand Court. Gather around the not-so-spooky cottage, and don't forget to wear a costume for the interactive photo op. And from October 26th through October 31st, you can also enjoy Booga and Hooga's Haunted House Party Sing-Along Do-Along show. The Gardens Mall is located 1 mile east